The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan.
Boy!
You are not ready, boy.
Shall we play a game?
Whatever.
Welcome to another episode of Nude Clan. Another episode of Nude Clan. We've already recorded one today. We got another one here.
Oh, okay. So we're just not going to let it slide.
Well, we do have to skip the hogs. Since you'll get a spoiler of what everybody's played and beaten 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
yeah, so we did this week's hog
In 2
next
weeks.
week.
The week
From when
after.
they hear this. No, they hear this today. Never mind.
Yeah, but then we have an E3 episode that is
We'll
going to
do
have a
hog
guest,
there.
and then we have a pre-recorded episode a week after that. So.
True.
But it's full episode, so don't be all like, nah, about it, all right?
Yeah.
No, you guys were thinking that.
Eric, it's not 3 hours. It's not a full podcast.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Some people.
So, how did these things usually start? Here.
Well, we usually have the
Oh,
games, but Cam, you should just go into the statistics because we're skipping
Yeah,
that
so
part.
normally we have already talked about what we
Yeah.
played this week.
But
So.
everybody played, we all know.
So straight into May statistics. So Matunica, who's the one who provides these, thank you, forgot to provide it last week, as y'all well know, but he was so kind to provide a quick May Hoggib statistic for us on his train ride home from work, and this is what we have.
It's good. We're adding more work to his work.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is all him doing
what
it
the train
just
is.
because.
That's what the
work.
train is for. Is work.
So now we have 72 Hoggib users. That's more hours than Cameron's total Persona 5 time. That's a lie. I still have more time in Persona 5 than 72 hours.
How many hours?
I did it, I think, in 94 hours. We can go back and listen to it.
I can't remember what.
I mean, it's a
time it was.
long game.
I had 82, I think, for mine.
Yeah, so I did not play as quickly as Caleb did. I had to take more time. I had to take days
okay.
off to finish this game.
All right.
Anyways.
Swaths of days.
The Hog Army has logged 2,984 media items. So we have 1,389 picture books, up from 800 last month.
Wow.
We have 370 Geekdom podcasts. Those are up by 50. 559 albums. That's down by 207. 243 movies. That's down by 152. 26 Audible books. That's up by 8. Books stay the same at 8. 210 TV shows, up by 15. 172 games, up by 16. And in the month of May, the most completed game was God of War 2018.
I believe it.
And Faerun with 4 Hoggibbers. So that's 2 months
What the
running for
What is that?
God of War. Faerun,
Yeah.
Faerun, it's the shares that are. I'm saying Faerun, but there's only one R between the fair and the rune. So I could be pronouncing it wrong. Could it be Faerun?
Anybody know what this is?
Faerun?
Craig?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know what this
Faerun.
is.
4 people played a game that none of us have heard of.
Yeah.
The shit.
I mean, we could look it up real
It does
quick
seem
if we
odd,
wanted
yeah.
to, but
Faerun?
No, do you want me to?
just pull it up. So yeah, we're all stuck on it. So Faerun.
Faerun.
Yeah, well there it is.
Nintendo 3DS game. Russian website. Okay.
Cool. Well, it's a thing.
All right. It's a thing.
It exists.
3DS and the PS Vita.
Looks like one of those cheap $2 games that it has on the fucking store for 3DS.
Careful, Craig.
That's just what it looks like. There are 1,000 of them.
All right,
He's
maybe
counted them. He's thought about using
maybe
it.
maybe those.
Okay, so for the community stats, only 8 Final Fantasy games this month, including 2 Muff games, 2 Mario games, 2 Pokemon games, 2 Puff Puffs, 1 Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone Game Boy Advance version, and that's for Joe.
Nice.
And
I never played that one, but
and Jammer Lammy, you guys should play this game. It's very different. Jammer Lammy.
Jammer Lammy.
That's the game title.
I hate the title. Hate it.
And that wraps it up for the stats, and we're going to get into the game quiz that has at the end, where I read you
Those
the
were
note.
quick stats.
I know they were quick stats. He didn't have enough time to.
Our best band. I mean, I know it was System of a
Always
Down,
waiting for the album.
Next
He
month.
did it on the train, so
Yeah,
I
he-
give him.
he's
Fuck you.
He was like, no. He's like, oh shit, Cam, did I forget the stats? I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I just told me to get it next week. He's like, oh, I don't have
Did you
much
notice
time.
that the month changed? Is that what?
I don't know. Did you forget
It's
the
almost
stats,
like he has
motherfucker?
a family and a job. Oh wow.
I know. He does this all voluntary. He doesn't have to do it.
Okay, so I read you the note that the person logged with the game. You have to guess what the game is.
It's a game.
Yes, you have to guess what it is. So
Hey, you
beat-
want to not so have
Wait,
so
is
that
it a
Caleb's
game like a
looking at
video
it?
game, or is it a
Yeah,
game
you
like
should
we're
probably
playing
not,
a
like,
game?
lean
So
it
we are
towards
playing
me.
a game about video games, like
So-
we often do.
You want to
So
see it?
it's just games, not.
Yeah, so it's a game that was logged, and we're reading the note the person logged with the game. We have to guess what the game is based off of their
Got it.
notes.
And that's the game we are
and
playing.
that's the game we're playing.
Okay,
Okay, so question 1.
got it.
Beat May 15th, quest mode 100% complete. Gotta love that robot rapist announcer. Also, the soundtrack to this game is super relaxing.
Bejeweled 2.
Bejeweled 2.
Close, but
Bejeweled
no
3.
cigar. Yes, Bejeweled 3. Craig gets the point. How'd you know?
Dude, it's the robot rapist. Like, both,
Everyone knows.
Both choices
We got to
I
bring
know.
this up. Bejeweled 3 announcer. Pull that up on YouTube.
No, dude, it's.
I need to hear this.
You haven't heard it?
I have
you
not played
Bejeweled?
a fucking Bejeweled game.
God, dude, Bejeweled. I
It
love
sounds like
Bejeweled.
Bedazzle and thus too old. and
It's a
too
phone
gay.
game.
I love Bejeweled, but God, dude, that fucking rapist voice. So he's like, good job.
Good job, B. Is that what he says? It's a good job, B.
Good job.
Good job, B.
We're
Still waiting on
That's a
it.
voices mod.
we're looking it up.
That's a mod. That's not this. It's not the same guy.
Do the spectacular.
Let me hear.
A new high score.
Holy shit, that's loud.
Sorry.
Ow.
Excellent.
Okay. Good. That's what it sounds like, I guess.
Game over. Get ready. Go. Good. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's the guy.
I wonder if that's Bejeweled 2, by the way, but close enough. Okay, so the second game
I like it
in
when
this...
you roll your tongue around the tip. Ooh, good.
Craig went
Stick
into...
it.
Excellent.
Put the tongue in the hole just a little. Ooh.
Good job.
Okay, so the second game in the list, the notes here say, fan-fucking-tastic.
God of War.
Nope.
Is that all it says?
That's all it says.
That's bullshit.
I
We
know.
gotta have better.
More descriptive.
I'll
Yeah,
give you a hint.
Metal Gear Solid.
No, just here's my hint.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
No. Okay,
Different breathing. Okay.
you said a word that's in the title of the game.
Space Cadet.
No.
Guessing breathe.
Oddworld's Odyssey.
Yes.
Don't breathe.
But what's the past tense?
Breath.
Breath
And
of the
what's-
Wild.
Breath of the
Fire?
Wild.
Oh.
Okay, third game on the list. 8 out of 10. Damn, that end of the last boss was a pain.
Vagrant Story.
No.
Final Fantasy Type 0.
No.
That last boss is easy.
Oh, yeah, you can't actually lose, but
He could have been sarcastic.
it is a pain, though.
It took me a
Takes
while to figure
forever.
it out, but I wouldn't call
another
that
hint.
bullshit or anything.
Two of us have recently reviewed this game.
I said Vagrant Story, man.
Last boss,
Last boss.
Recently reviewed it.
Recently reviewed.
Catherine.
Correct. Catherine is the winner. All right. The next question down. 10 out of 10. Too easy. I know this game like the back of my hand and will be getting the plat to maintain my 100% completion in the Soulsborne titles.
Bloodborne?
No.
Dark Souls 2.
Dark Souls 3?
No.
Dark Souls Remastered?
Demon Souls.
Yes.
Damn it.
He is
Okay,
correct.
that's-
Dark Souls
that's-
Remastered.
I bet you that was Stolas. If
Probably.
he does hog. I don't know if he actually does hog.
Okay, now
Easy.
the fifth game in the list. It's done. Time to review it, boys.
Bloodborne.
No.
God of War.
No. Think fantasy.
Final Fantasy Type 0.
No.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
No.
Vagrant Story.
Nope.
Fantasy Star.
Nope. Okay, you're not going to get this.
Star Ocean Till the End of Time.
Final Fantasy Dimensions 2.
Oh, fuck.
I
actually should
one
have
of
gotten
the-
that because Jake's
one
been
of the-
like, you want me to publish that Dimensions 2 review? You want me to put that Dimensions 2 review up?
Okay. Number 6 in the list. A sports star gets thrown into the future to be tries and fuck. What? To be TRYS. Tries.
What?
A sports star gets thrown in the future to be tries and fuck a nun on seminary mission, but ends up having to save the world from an evil whale god thing and solve his daddy
Final Fantasy
issues
X.
all in one amazing adventure. And that is correct.
I was going to say Shaq Fu.
Giant whale? Really?
Giant whale. I guess he's big.
Evil
but
whale god.
that's just rude.
Seventh game seems to be what all the cool kids are playing nowadays. Well, this and God of War. And it's a game I've never heard of, by the way.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
So the cool kids haven't been playing it? Is that what you're telling me right now?
Guess I'm not a cool kid.
It's one that you haven't heard of?
Yeah.
It's one that people have been playing other
Yeah.
than God of War.
Yeah. Nowadays.
Minecraft.
Fortnite.
No.
Even though that's a bullshit ad. It's bullshit.
The game is Florence.
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay. It's like it's an
Florence.
indie game.
Okay, now the 8th game in
It's
the
all the
list.
hipster cool kids. are
Yeah.
playing it. Okay.
So the new cool kids.
Okay.
Okay, so now the 8th game in the list here is Fuck My Butt, That Mothership Was Hard, but seriously fun game. Around 7 hours, just got lucky drops and events on my last playthrough.
That mothership was hard. Mothership.
And he said Fuck My Butt. I wonder if that's related.
Is it?
Fuck My Butt, That Mothership Was Hard? What
You're the
happens
one.
to you on
You're the one
motherships?
giving clues, Cam. You can't say. I wonder if that's related.
I'm going to say Destroy All Humans.
Nope.
2. 3.
Maybe that, yeah, I don't know. No. it's
4.
not.
I don't know if there's a 4. I don't think so.
Give us a clue.
No.
Stop.
I don't know how to give you a clue.
Do you
about
even
this
know what
game.
it is?
I don't.
You never heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Galaga.
I've heard of Galaga. I've played Galaga. It is FTL, Faster Than Light.
Oh, I've seen that game. That's all I can say about it.
9th game on the list. Unfortunately, I didn't win my own restaurant after beating this one.
Didn't win my own restaurant.
Ace Attorney Kitchen Man.
It looks like it's based off of a popular TV show centered around cooking.
Hell's Kitchen?
Correct. Hell's Kitchen.
Somebody played Hell's Kitchen. God,
I think Schweiss won that one.
Yeah, he got that one. So number 10.
people
fun.
are really reaching for the hog.
Reach for the hog, man. Gotta reach for it if you want
God,
it.
I mean, yeah, reach for the hog, but God, quality matters.
Does it?
Does it really for the hog? No.
Look at Jake. Do you think
only
quality
the numbers matter for the hog?
So number 10, fun, probably my favorite Telltale game, around 6 hours.
Telltale Batman.
No.
Telltale.
Game of Thrones. The Borderlands one?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the Borderlands
Tales from
one.
the Borderlands.
I'll get it. Yep. Tales from the Borderlands wraps us up, and I think Schweiss won that. I wasn't keeping track. Really, you're all losers here is what the real
I think
answer
Schweiss
is.
answered 2, and I think Craig answered 1.
One? I got at least 2.
What was the other one?
I got the Dark Souls. Dark Souls Remastered.
He got
Oh,
Dark Souls Remastered.
Okay. I think they're tied.
Cool. They're
Okay.
tied.
Sweet. That was such a nice time, guys.
It was. So reminiscent of me.
All right. Well, we got a question or two.
We do have a question or two. First one is from Chase versus Game. He says, do some publishers and companies send a game out knowing it's going to get negative reviews?
Yeah,
I think,
I'd
yeah.
assume so, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But then
If you
what's
got,
the point
We have a
at that
release
point?
date. We have to
Because
hit.
they made
we
the
have,
game. They don't want to just lose money.
Yeah, they have to make their money.
True.
You can't just be like, well, we got to sit on this for 9 more months, pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and go into the hole, and then hope that this is a big success when it's better. But we don't know if it's going to be that much better than it is right now. Let's try to make our money back. Let's
Change
go.
project leads halfway through.
Yeah, you can't be doing that shit. So, yeah. It's a money thing, man. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think they do. I don't know if they don't intentionally set up to make a bad game, but I think it becomes poor, and I think they realize that, and I think they just they have to recoup some of the costs because a studio, when they're making a game, all the costs that are incurred from that they have to pay for at that moment, and if they don't release that fucking game, they just don't ever get that money back. And if they release a game that's not that great, they could break even or even make a little bit.
I'm pretty sure Hello Games knew what they were doing. They knew what was going to happen when they were about to release No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
You could see him in interviews where he was just like, all the talking points that they had where he's talking up the game. He's now like going on talk shows and having to back it up. And he's like, there was this one point he's like, I'm just afraid people are going to expect more than what is actually, in the game. He actually said something very similar to that. Let's find out the exact quote. But I think they knew they were in for a shit show when the game hit the markets.
Well, what about... Did anybody watch Solo besides me and Schweiss?
No, I haven't seen
God, you fucking...
I eat to feel. You keep telling us to skip it, and yet you're like, watch it, dude.
I told you two to watch it.
No, you
He
told
has
us to
Movie
skip it.
Pass, and you're a fucking Star Wars fanatic. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
This is
I
your
love Star
religion, aren't
Wars.
you?
I love Star
Isn't
Wars,
it?
but that doesn't necessarily mean that I love constant prequels. I mean, look what happened with the original prequels.
Yeah, it's true.
True.
Now we're getting more.
How much more can we squeeze out of this?
Oh,
Plus
they'll
they-
wring
plus-
it dry until it goes straight to DVD.
Plus, the fucking
telling you.
comics that they put out for Marvel are considered canon. So at like some point, I'm pretty sure they're just gonna like fuck up and be like, "All right, nothing's canon anymore."
No cannon.
Well, the movies are priority, have always been.
Well, that's in your opinion.
That's in George Lucas's opinion.
He's
Not
not
since he
Matter.
sold
He's
it.
not right now,
own
but
it-
even-
Disney owns it
But
now.
then Disney also said, fuck all the books, except for the ones that we put out, too. So.
Well, that's because they didn't want to like make movies and be forced to do what the books were doing.
Yeah, some of the books got into topics that would have been hard to translate onto the screen. Although the Rogue series, that would have been fun to see.
See, now you have all these opinions about how why the fuck haven't you seen Solo, Craig?
I just haven't.
Hasn't found time.
I want to bitch about Solo.
Do you refuse to add Woody Harrelson to your...
You were willing to watch Batman v Superman. You were willing to watch fucking... What was that
Because
other
I knew
shitty
I was
one?
going to hate them. I had to watch
You just got to
them.
buy him a ticket if you want to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
We can't. Oh, Joe can't. I can. Movie Pass still doesn't make me take a picture. It doesn't trust you, and it doesn't trust Alex, but it trusts me. And I've ripped him off more than they can know. I have destroyed you more than you could possibly know, Movie Pass.
Why? What is it? Like you have to take a picture of your?
You're supposed to take a picture of your stuff. Do you not have it either?
I don't have the thing that tells me to take a
Maybe
picture of
there
my
was
stuff.
some like thing that made it tick off. Maybe me and Alex.
I've
at
used the
some
movie
point
pass a couple times. It's ever asked
used it
me.
in a certain way.
It just says, enjoy your movie.
Yeah, hers and Joe's, they both had to take like a photo of the ticket.
Yep.
And she's like, well, what if it was just the wrong
Maybe
one?
it's
I was
a certain
like, they would
version.
just shut your account down then.
And maybe it's just a certain version of
The app?
the app. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Just look at your app version.
Anyway,
I don't want to update if that's
are
the
you gonna
case.
see Solo?
Probably.
You
Eventually.
should. You should get Movie Pass, Greg. You guys have that nice movie theater down there in Spanish Fork that
Yeah,
they
but
just
he has
built.
to drive to it. You kidding?
Spanish is like minutes away.
Yeah, but it
And it's
involves
brand new.
driving
It's a
there.
huge brand new Cinemark.
It's really nice there, too.
Exactly.
They got fucking, like, recliner seats.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking lazy boys, man.
I mean, they
it's
all
awesome.
have that now, but yeah, they.
Not all of them. Fucking Orem one and
Last time I went to Provo, they
doesn't
didn't have that.
They do now.
They do now. Okay,
Orem has it too.
cool.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm telling. Not all the theaters.
I'm talking like full on lazy boys as the fucking seats, dude. I'm not talking like the nice row seats.
No, I know they're like you can like lean them
Yeah,
back.
the recliners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're
that's
like- they're
exactly
like
the
fucking-
theater.
They don't
that's right
have
next
they
to
don't
me.
have that in Orem.
The theater that's right next to me is only those nice seats.
That's the one I go to as well, but it's because of the parking, not because of the movies. Or
It's the one
seats.
because I can walk there now.
Nice.
I live in such a good location now, guys. You have
asshole,
no idea.
asshole, fucking. Oh, you. How about how much money I make?
I can walk to work in 10
Then I'll
minutes.
still bitch about not having it.
I don't bitch about not having money. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not recently. That's for
I
sure.
finally caught up to my spending.
No, and
Suddenly I
cut
have
a
money.
few things off too. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, trim the fat,
trim the fat.
Okay. Cool.
cut off some chorizo. I don't know. I was trying to work that somehow.
Chorizo is sausage.
I know, but sausage
There
is
was
mainly
last
fat.
month. It got a little close because I had to spend like $2,000 in car repairs, but that was fun.
Did you get rid of the?
No, but
No,
that
he-
only
he
happens
wants to keep that.
That only happens if you switch
why
it
he
from
doesn't
hot
ever-
That
air
only
to
happens
cold air.
every time Joe gets in my car. Every single time Joe gets in my car.
So it
that
only
happens.
happens in the between the springtime and fall. That's the only time you hear that noise because
That's not true, man. It was winter, dead winter, when we had to be fucking freezing cold, and that thing
I don't know
was
what it
making
is.
that
It
noise.
just never happens. But it only happens for a minute. It's because it can't decide how to switch it from hot air to cold air, and it freaks out every time it has to do that. But all the other noises are gone.
Okay, someone will fucking kill that cat for me. Just fucking murder that cat.
I don't. Can they hear that?
If we're quiet for like a second, they'll hear it. They're gonna hear that.
That's okay. Just so they can hear what we're hearing.
Dude, last night I was so pissed because like he kept screaming at us outside, and then like I would open the door, and he would just sit on the porch just screaming, and I'm like, "What the fuck is your problem?" And then he comes in and he just walks around. And he's like, "Eh." The whole time he's walking around, I'm like, "Get the fuck out of this house! Like, what are you doing in here? Why'd you even come back inside? What do you want?" I don't understand what
Time
he
for
desires.
a crawl space kitten.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so loud, man. I'm so sick of that shit.
Oh fuck.
I'm gonna leave him in a field, like.
Dude,
20
I've
miles
never
away.
met a cat that meows as much as he does.
Nope. There isn't a cat.
And they don't, and it's never as loud. Like, he's just ridiculous.
Well, there's cats that meow a lot, but usually they're fucking quieter. Like, I got a cat that meows a lot, but he's like,
My cat meows just so quietly, so politely.
yep, like Cameron's cat. And his is like,
His is just wailing in the background all the time.
God, and we're like, is something wrong with him? We gotta take him to the vet. He just won't shut the fuck up. It's been years.
Yeah.
Oh my
He just
God.
wants attention. That's
He
all
does.
wants.
He wants someone to go up there with him. That's what it is. He wants someone to be there where he's at.
Well, then he can just sit here and be quiet.
That's not how it works. He has to go up there and summon us. He's got his little cat summoning bell.
pulls in
fucking
someone to,
people on the forum with that shit.
pulls
too.
in someone to take care of everything for him.
Like, if you feeling a little sad about people commented on
I'm
the forum
not feeling
about Sony
sad.
belts?
I think they're a bunch of little whiny little bitches.
Are people giving you shit about it?
Yeah, there's
No,
one
people
guy.
are just being little whiny little fanboy bitches about it.
No. There's one guy who the Bloodborne series, Bloodborne game Dark Souls series, is a very large part of his life and has helped him.
How is it a large part of his life? He's like, you know
Just
what? I
go
think
read
I
the
need my
forum
balls to be
posts.
used as a punching bag today.
Let me do it in the right voice here, Rudger. Hello. I made this account for this post only. I've listened to all the shows for a while now, and when I heard you'd be playing Bloodborne, I was very excited. You see, Bloodborne and the Souls games are very special. They are unlike any other game solely for this reason alone. They prove that the player is capable of overcoming impossible odds. Is this too much?
You do what you want. It's
If
too
I get
late
bitched
now.
at later, it's like, you
being
were
a pretty-
you were making fun of a fan. It's not cool, dude.
Yeah, you're
Whatever.
pretty
I don't
big
know what
asshole.
I don't know what this guy's voice sounds like.
You just have one less person who
Yeah, one less person.
actually he was already didn't like you. So
You see, Bloodborne and the Souls games, they're very... Oh, fuck, I read it. Now Joe will read the word impossible and use that as proof that Bloodborne is too hard for him. So co-oping through the entire game was sufficient, dude. All right, I'm just going to change. This is not true. I will tell you why. Joe still believes Bloodborne is a hard game. I do. I don't think it's an unbeatable game, though. It's fucking... It's like they didn't listen to me. It's like they only listened to one half of the things I say. You know? You know that feeling, Schweiss?
yeah, yes we do.
I don't know what you're talking about, Karen. Like I don't listen to you?
Just the half you want to listen to.
Anyone who's truly beaten Bloodborne will tell you that it's not a hard game, only different. I heard hard as a word being spoken many a times from people in the comments who had beaten the game over and over again, including the person who played most of the bosses with me, Chase versus Game. He called it a hard game.
Also about
So
that,
not anyone who has truly beaten a Bloodborne
Chase versus Game
will tell
also
you it's not
betrayed you a little bit because he said, "Well, you did beat the game." He doesn't feel like your review should count.
hard. I don't give a
at
shit.
all.
I don't give a shit about the second part of that.
Only hearing what you want to hear.
I heard it, but I won't listen to it. Wait, I don't know. I understood it. I understood it. I heard it. I understood. I understand. Don't agree. It takes a while to unlearn things taken for granted in other games, but once you do, the game is no more difficult than God of War.
God of War is a hard game, too.
It's a hard game.
Yeah, it is.
Take, for instance, animation canceling. Joe believes that mashing buttons is just a natural way to play this type of game. He cannot imagine learning to control his button presses as Bloodborne demands. Yeah, that must be why
You just keep switching to like different characters.
just-
First you were Craig, now you're Bane.
he just blames the game for its inability.
No, do Michael Caine.
I just blames the game for its inability to learn and adapt through this house. Joe never attempted to learn the lessons. God, fucking, like Bloodborne is my teacher. Like Bloodborne is the fucking Bible to this guy. It's like let's all study the
Thou
lessons,
shalt
and thou
become-
shalt the Bloodborne.
Thou shalt quell the lichen horde.
First off, the fucking review hasn't even come out yet, so they don't actually know what I'm gonna fucking say, and I've made sure not to say what I'm gonna fucking say. Fuck them. Except I have said that the story's not gonna get a very good review, which it's not, because it was fucking it. You gonna tell me any different, Cameron? I mean, really? Okay.
Cameron's only a chapter and a half.
Sure. There's nothing more. There's nothing more. There's like an ending cutscene that doesn't make any sense. That's about it, Cameron. Have fun. Fun with that story. Joe never attempted to learn the lessons that Bloodborne was trying to teach him. Bloodborne shoved Joe up against a wall, showed him a door, but he chose to hit his head up against the wall while ignoring the arrow pointing to the unlocked door 5 feet away. That's a really... Should have thought about
Kind of a
that
poor
metaphor. Yeah.
I've only done that
You're
once or
working into
twice in
that.
my life, so I can't really relate. Giant arrow pointing at a door, and I'm just like,
Oh, yeah, that moment. Joe never had to explore a level. What the fuck fuck are you talking about, dude? The fuck?
You didn't do anything
I
extra.
never had to explore a level. No, I fucking did. I went through these fucking maps like 16 million times. And I fucking know them like the back of my goddamn hand just because I only went through 5 of them. Fuck you. All right. Joe never had to learn enemy attack patterns or timing. That's not true. Fuck you. That is not true at all. Oh my God, that is not true. Joe never learned how to parry. I did learn how to parry on certain guys because I learned their attack patterns, which you just told me that I didn't learn how to do at all. So maybe I didn't know how to parry every single guy in the game, but the timing is different for every single guy in the game. So fuck you again. Joe knows he didn't learn these lessons. That's not fucking true. I did learn some of those lessons. That's why he's still afraid of Bloodborne. I'm not afraid of Bloodborne. I just don't want to spend any more fucking time in the game. Jesus Christ. Like Joe. Guys, I mean, really. Am I afraid of Bloodborne now?
I think Craig is afraid of it.
I think Craig, yeah. I think I was afraid of it at the beginning.
Why am I afraid of it?
I think my first day of
refused to play
Bloodborne
it
was
with
real
me.
rough, but
I can play it. I have.
I'm afraid of it too, Caleb.
like Joe,
It's okay.
I'm going to be real for a minute. When I first played a Souls game, I suffered from crippling depression. I could barely leave my house, and calling quits one life
That's probably because you were playing these games.
one life became more and more tempting. Calling quits one life? Calling quits on one life, I think is what he means. Became more and more tempting every day. So he's going to kill himself because he tried a Souls game.
Oh,
See, now,
I thought he was
No.
going to kill a Souls character or himself, and it was like
No,
a guessing game.
he's
as to,
saying that the Souls game helped him get away from that.
No. Hold on. When I first played a Souls game, so he plays the game. I suffered from crippling depression. That's a causational sentence. I don't think that's a. I was suffering from crippling depression when I played the Souls game.
When he first started playing, he suffered from crippling depression.
that does
it's
kind of
just
imply
at the
that
same
the game.
time.
So the game is unhealthy for you. Then just put it.
This
down.
is no. He's definitely talking about the game. He's not talking about
No,
his own
he's
life.
not.
No, he is. I'm reading
That's
further
not what he
ahead.
meant.
I suffered from crippling depression. I could barely leave my house, and calling quits one life became more and more tempting every day. Life was just too hard. Learning how to be a functional adult was impossible. Okay, so that was the fucking. All right. Don't tell me that you didn't misread that first sentence.
I didn't, because I'm not an
We
asshole.
understood what he was
Bullshit.
saying. We didn't immediately assume that he was going to commit suicide because of the game,
Well,
Joe.
obviously, me and him are different. The game makes me want to commit suicide, and
Maybe
apparently, the Souls game is
like
helpful to it.
Maybe it's a drug. Like too much is poison, and too
I'll admit,
little-
man, I wasn't dreading going back into the game. I kept going into the game. I just wanted it to be over, though. That was a different thing. Okay, enter a game that flirtatiously says, "Ooh, look at me. I'm too hard. I'm impossible. Beat. You can't beat me." There's a typo. The Soul series acted as a risk-free crucible for testing a person's determination in the face of adversity. It's a video game. Literally nothing bad can happen to you, yet the emotional journey is very, very real. After beating my first impossible game, I felt that I could beat the other impossible tasks in my life. What?
like Superman 64.
What?
Don't do that. though.
You can't do.
Don't do
Superman
that if
64.
you're saving your life from video
I
games.
got a job. I moved out of my parents' house, etc., etc. I'm now like an amazing dude living an amazing life. See, that's what makes me think this is a sarcastic letter. I'm like an amazing dude now, living an amazing life. See, I think this guy's full of shit. I feel capable and powerful. I feel like anything I could put my mind to, I can accomplish. I credit some of this personal revelation to the Souls series. It actually makes me really disappointed that when faced with adversity and the opportunity to have a life-altering experience,
That sounds like drugs.
Joe
Yeah, you want some meth, Joe?
opted out because it's too hard for me. I hate it when people say shit like this, but I'm honestly going to have a real hard time respecting Joe's opinion after hearing all this. Well,
Look, man.
have fun with this part of the episode.
if you've respected Joe's opinion to this point, you've been doing it wrong.
Joe, I have platinum Bloodborne. I have put more than 500 hours into Bloodborne
God.
and over 2,000 hours into the Souls series combined. I'm an active member of the Tomb Prospector / Chalice Dungeon community. I know what I'm talking about. Joe, I can say with certainty you did not beat Bloodborne. Bloodborne beat you.
But what if Joe was already defeated before Bloodborne got there? Like, what if it's like in Civilization?
He clearly has been, man.
What if it's like in Civ when, like, you raise a town but your units die and then someone else can just walk in and take the town? Like, did that person beat the game? No, they beat each other. Joe was dead before and someone else just claimed it.
You've stood before the throne of Bloodborne and have been found unworthy.
That's not fucking true. I beat the game to credits. Fuck all y'all. That's number one. Look. What matters here, and when it comes to our reviews, is the letter of the law. Did you beat the game? Yes. Okay, now we may review it. I bet you, like, no, none of your fucking, like, Game Informer shit, I bet they don't beat those games.
They don't.
I bet they get, like, a quarter of the way into it and then write their review.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah. So Nude Clan is special, and that we actually have to beat these goddamn fucking things, including Bloodborne. And you know what? I used an in-game function to do it. So... Look, I know the game is important to you and all. I have not shat on the game in any way so far in these reviews, except for, like, after the first day of playing it, called it a fucking asshole. Which it is an asshole, and it's purposefully an asshole, and that's part of your getting over bullshit in the game. It's an asshole thing. Luckily, it did give me an out in that assholeness so that the game, instead of being a 50-hour game, was instead like a, what was it, a 20-hour game for me? So, yeah, you know what?
Yeah, guys, just look at how Joe approaches gaming. It's more like how most guys approach masturbation. They like want to get it over with as fast as possible, and then they're done. And then in this case, Joe just went with his left hand and then switched over to righty as soon as it fell asleep and said hello to the stranger.
So you said about how most guys approach masturbation. How do the other guys do it?
No, Joe approaches it in a
slow.
Yeah, Joe goes the slow candlelit, make an evening out of it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I only ever did that like 6 times.
You got like a bubble bath, a bath bomb in there. Fucking.
This post, Rudger, if you know that much about Bloodborne, then you know that there are 3 different endings you could get in the game, and that I, in fact, did get one of the official endings in the game. I didn't get the quote-unquote true ending, but we don't do quote-unquote true endings as part of Nude Clan reviews.
No, because a lot of times it requires second playthrough.
Yes.
And that is not going to happen.
It's not going to fucking happen.
Not for fucking Chrysler Tower.
I don't think there's a question, and I'm really fucking annoyed that you did like a 1.5-page post on this.
I love it, personally.
Yeah, we all do.
Our forums are a safe place, especially now that Joe's leaving. So,
yeah, he won't make fun of you.
Never been a safe place, Cameron.
There have been bullies.
We have actually kicked people off the forum.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, but he says he's only going to post for this.
No prawn, though.
Yeah,
thankfully.
no prawn allowed.
Yeah.
Let's see, Alistair. It comes to my defense on this post. It goes, I don't know why you wasted your time with that crap. Should have just went with the tried and true get good and nothing else. Thank you, Alistair. I appreciate that.
He wasn't coming to your defense.
No,
he was telling you. He was telling him.
But
he was
telling the other guy like that was too much.
Yeah, but he was also telling him to tell you to get good because you suck. He wasn't coming to your defense.
Maybe. Imagine what would happen if this guy experiences porn for the first time. The guy, the poster?
The guy who wrote it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, according to Joe, if you just watch porn, it counts as fucking, right?
What?
Because somebody else is doing it for him.
Oh. Somebody else played the game for you, so you beat it.
Joe a watcher?
And Joe's a cuck.
Yeah, he's a cuck. He watched everybody else beat the bosses for him.
All right, let's go with the cock stroking metaphor. Let's continue with that. I'm holding my shaft and going for it too, but someone else's hand is going in there as well. I need that extra pressure, I guess.
So somebody else is finishing you off?
No, so we're both... I'm still masturbating, but they are also...
It's no longer masturbation if
Hand
somebody's
jobbing.
hand is now on your dick.
but I might come either way. Probably will.
You probably would.
I mean, it depends on how many rounds in we are.
Just
but-
need Schweiss's sandpaper hands.
Yeah. You want some friction with that order?
Look.
Want it to bleed a little?
I believe wholeheartedly that post is sarcastic. But if it's not, whatever teaches you to get over your shit, that's fine. That's cool with you, man. I figured out a way to get through Bloodborne. I really did. I used my problem-solving ability to do it, too. I also stated many times on the podcast, including we had a moment where Cameron was like, hey, have you figured out how to parry anybody? And I said, yes. And you can see it on my stream, me parrying people and then chopping them down. That happens all the time. I've learned, man, I didn't learn every single enemy's patterns, but I learned a shitload of patterns. I did do a shitload of exploring because that's what it takes to get to the end of levels. It's not fucking true. You just said a bunch of shit that I had said clearly on the episode last time, or the time before. Can't remember when we had this big
Well, when did he
argument.
post that?
Just this week, I think, or last week maybe. And I clearly said that all that shit that I had done, because I talked about them, I wouldn't talk about them if I didn't fucking do them. So it doesn't, You're making a bunch of false bullshit claims here that I didn't do anything, that somehow I just ran. You're saying what Caleb claimed without having actually had any knowledge was that I just ran to the bosses in every area blindly.
You did. You went to the end of the area to unlock the quick ways to get to each area. That's what people.
That's how you play the game.
That's how you play the game. You get through things. You have to kill shit on the way.
level up, and then you just blitz through the map.
And then
just
you get
telling
to the
you.
shortcuts, and then you have to go through it. In fact, I'm pretty sure Rutger knows that. I'm pretty sure he knows that if he's platinum the game. Unless he's like, I'm so good, I don't need no shortcut. Fuck that. And then he goes the long way to the boss every time.
Why not?
Fuck
Get
you,
more
Craig,
XP
you
that
do
way.
that. Have fun with your 200-hour Bloodborne game, you fucking asshole. All right, A4 Extreme comes to my aid on a separate forum post. It was pretty much the same thing.
You know what? Let's just get into God of War. I don't want to hear any more about this shit.
Joe beat Bloodborne. That's what he says. When I played it years ago, I chose the same ending because I just wanted to be done with the game, and I considered it beat. Loki Lionheart says, I don't think he beat the game. Had a really hard time in Dark Souls 2. See, now, afterward, someone being in my game and doing everything else doesn't mean when they beat everything that I can claim I did it. That's what they say here, Loki Lionheart. Loki, sorry, you're wrong. The final part of the game is me choosing whether or not there is a final boss, which I chose on my own. So I beat that game. Abrax says there's really no question he beat it. Thank you, Abrax. And then Alistair, once again, technically yes, but carried it, and my shit shouldn't be counted. Complete waste of time of a review, says Alistair, even though we haven't actually done the review, so fuck off, all of you. All of you guys, go fuck yourself.
Now
They're
you're
just
going to have to...
anticipating the review.
Now you're just going to have to give it a really good score just to really fuck them up.
No, I'll give him an honest score. I've already chosen my scores. I chose it the day I beat the fucking game. So, and it's not going to change.
You sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure about that. So,
I don't know why
y'all
I
can
asked.
fuck off.
I think you beat it. I mean, I think you're a cheap motherfucker.
I am a cheap motherfucker. I'm not arguing that I'm not a cheap motherfucker, but I did beat the fucking game.
I would never beat the game that way, but you could.
Well,
I would
that's
play it
great.
again if I played it a second time. I would definitely do that and make it a co-op thing just for fun.
If it was the second time, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know why I would play it twice, but
I mean,
If you like it.
I would doubt.
You played God of War twice.
I would doubt that many people would get to if they didn't know about the blood, the beckoning bell thing. There's a boss in there. It's in a water area. It's like a big spider, and a whole bunch of little spiders are coming out. It's a nearly impossible boss, and I doubt that many people try to do that alone, like the first time. It's so fucking rough. So, I don't know. I do know I beat the game. Y'all a bunch of little whiny little bitches. And like I called Craig last time with the what is the the elitist gamer, the elitist fat ass gamer who tells other people how to game, you can go fuck yourself.
You know,
100% go fuck yourself. Oh,
It wasn't about being an elitist, Joe. It was about enjoying the game and playing it because you have to review it.
I enjoy games the way I enjoy them.
Not playing the game because you fucking have to and then just like shitting on it and doing the quickest way possible to get through it.
You know what the sad thing is the platinum percentage is like almost a fourth of people. It's almost 23%.
It's actually a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people love it and just keep playing it.
Yeah.
I would say that Caleb, like, the problem with that is if you're saying he played it as if he had to review it and not because he enjoyed it.
Well, that's how he reviews all games. That's the fucking major point of why I was
Where?
pissed.
Well,
it's because he doesn't fucking give a shit. Like, we actually like games. The three of us actually like games. Joe does not.
I like games.
He treats it as a fucking chore, and his review scores reflect that.
Yeah, you're right. My 10 out of 10 for every single category of Doom 2016 really reflected that, Craig. I'm the only person on this podcast that's ever given a game a perfect score.
It's because you love Halo, and it's pretty similar to that. That is honestly the case.
Awesome Halo.
It's like a more awesome Halo. That's literally why you love it.
Because you love games of a certain kind. You love that game, so you gave it a perfect score,
It's
dude.
because it was familiar to you and you actually enjoyed it.
Dude.
Unlike every other game you've ever
play
played.
shitloads of RPGs. It doesn't mean I'm going to get every RPG game I like a perfect score.
And look how quickly you got burnt out on that. You got burnt out like after 2 months
because
of
I'm
doing
doing
it.
2 RPGs at a time. God, you're fucking like, there's 30 fucking hour RPGs everywhere. Here's another 30-hour RPG. Here's another 30-hour RPG. Craig, the thing I love is time. That's the thing I love. If Bloodborne was a 6-hour game and I had to solo everything, then fuck it, I probably would.
Would you?
If it was like 6 hours, sure. And if no one told me about the beckoning bell.
So then you wouldn't have.
I don't know. I
have to
think
look
you can
online.
beat it that quickly, but you have to have played it a lot in order to do that and know where to go and all that other shit. Actually, I know where to go. Exactly where to go at all the Bloodborne.
I wonder how quickly somebody can beat Bloodborne.
I saw a guy beat it in like 40 minutes on YouTube.
40 minutes?
Yeah.
I saw somebody beat, it was like, I think Dark Souls 3 in like 20 minutes because they glitched everything.
I don't think the guy... I think he glitched one part of the map on the fucking forest level of death that I hate so much. Other than that, I think he played it pretty legit. It was just a regular speed run. He skipped the cutscenes and just got to bosses like instantly because he knows where they are and he knows the maps really well. But you know that shit right off the bat. So if you were to do a second playthrough, I think that would be the playthrough where it's like, well, I'm gonna fuck around and try the other bosses. I wouldn't do that on first playthrough. Like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with Cameron. It's like
optional shit?
Like, Cameron, that game only, I think, 6 levels total are necessary. And one of them's like a half level. It's not even a real level. So like 5 levels really that you have to get through in order to beat the game. And you can do it without that. You can be on the proper level and everything without having to go do other stuff. When you look at the list on the Bloodborne wiki of like areas, it's pretty fucking big. It's like 18 or 20 areas in there. And so like the idea that you accidentally run into an area and like, well, fuck it, I'm doing this now, it's like scaring me. So you're going to be on that game forever.
Well, certain areas have items that are quite vital to making the rest of the gameplay easier. Like finding the gem that lets you put element effects on your weapon and whatnot.
Element effects, yeah. Okay. There's other you find gems anyway, like that help with your weapon.
Right, but there's certain
not elemental,
certain things.
no.
Yeah, there's certain things that you can do that you didn't do that I'm going to try to do.
Okay.
Because since I'm playing it through on my own, I'm trying to find items that'll help me do that.
Okay. I just don't want a 6-week delay.
Well, you can't really have much of a delay.
See, I mean, and that's the problem, guys, is that I have time limits on this shit. I also have a life, so I do need to beat games relatively economically. So And that's always been a thing with me. Like when we were doing UFF, we had like a 5-month period where we became lazy fucks with doing like FF4 and FF6. We were real fucking lazy about what we were doing, and we realized no, that's not the way to do it. Let's try to beat a Final Fantasy a month. And we tried doing that, and we kind of stuck to it for the rest of the time. I mean, relatively, and made the show better. So yeah, I fucking have to get through these games quickly. Unless you want empty nothing episodes, which happen when we delay episodes, which can be fun, but it's not about gaming at that point.
Yeah.
So
It's
whatever.
about Thor Ragnarok.
It's about Thor Ragnarok. It's about Batman v Superman. Should be about Solo this week, but it's not because you fuckers haven't watched it. We can't bitch about one thing that I really want to say.
Yeah.
It's a Jabba the Blank. Schweiss knows what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was laughing at that. I was like, what the fuck?
What?
There's a character that's very large compared to what they once were. And it's funny. They appear to be that way anyway. And they're like, I was like, wow, that is a fat version of that. I was really laughing at it. I was like, I eat the field, dude. And I have a really funny joke lined up for it, but I can't drop it because it'll reveal who it is.
All right. Well,
to Caleb, at least.
Shall we talk about God of War?
Yeah, we should probably fucking talk about God of War.
My son, we do not fight because the world makes us fight. We fight for a greater purpose. We forge into the unknown to fulfill the promise we made. No matter the darkness, nothing will stand in our way. Again.
That trailer is so full of shit.
Yeah, this misrepresents the game pretty hard.
This represents the character pretty fucking hard right there.
Yeah, and it called him my son instead of just boy. The fuck?
Seriously.
Well, yeah.
So stupid.
So, God of War is a 2018 action beat 'em up title released by Santa Monica.
Beat 'em up?
Beat 'em up.
It is not a beat 'em up.
Action RPG.
Action adventure, I'd say.
Yeah, more adventure, I guess. All the puzzles.
Yeah, released by Santa Monica Studios, creators of the God of War series. The game was directed by Corey Balrog. Or one of them.
I think it's Barlog.
Barlog, yeah. It should be Balrog. It'd be awesome. You should change it. You should change it, Corey. And
he's listening right now.
he is, of course. Well, yeah, he's a good fan of the show.
He's tight with us, yeah.
That's why I got
Bloodborne.
He's a big fan of Bloodborne, too, so he's going to be real pissed at Joe. Yeah, it was our forced Uber game for this period of time.
Wasn't the Uber game?
Well, it was a forced game based on another media. That's right. And, yeah, fuck it. Here it is. Story-wise, the game features Kratos at it's probably like 15 or so years after the events of God of War. It doesn't really explain, but he's kind of an old bastard now. He's seen some hard times.
He's seen some shit.
Yeah, the game starts out with you cutting down a tree to burn your dead wife at the funeral pyre.
Yeah, a few trees. So like she had specific trees she had marked that she wanted for her funeral pyre.
Yeah, and you cut them down.
You
burn
find
them.
out why.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then suddenly you have a son. You have a little boy. His name's Atreus, right? And
Atreus.
Boy!
And right after that, you guys go home. You stuff her ashes in a little pouch. And her final wish was to have her ashes tossed off the highest peak in all of the realms, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically your goal in the game. It's a very clear goal, very defined, very simple, easy to remember goal to accomplish throughout God of War.
right after that, you get attacked by the Wanderer, right?
The stranger, I
The
think that's what they call him at that point.
You beat the shit out of him. He dies, comes back to life. Apparently, he can't be hurt. You go on this grand adventure spanning across multiple realms of reality, multiple different worlds. And you meet Freya, who, of course, is a goddess in this particular Nordic region, which is where this game takes place, as opposed to Greece and Rome and all of that, where the previous titles occurred. And yeah, you basically just climb the mountain. You find out that it's in the land of the giants, which you thought was kind of odd. You climb up and you toss the fucking ashes off, and there you go.
And there's a big twist.
Yeah, there's a huge twist at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Spoilers, if you have not beaten this game...
Well, let's just skip it then. Let's not talk about it.
No, let's do. We should have spoilers.
Don't listen to
No
this
spoilers.
fucking review.
No,
Why
we
would
should
you
have.
listen to
Yeah,
the
why
review?
would you fucking listen to a review of a game without spoilers?
I think-
What the shit?
A twist at the end, I think
Don't-
we can leave out. I don't think it's a big enough deal that we have to talk about that for 50 years.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I think I know what he's talking about.
I'm
No,
saying
like,
we
why-
just did the overview of the story. I think that's a good. I think that was a good overview.
All right,
Yeah.
fine, whatever.
A lot of really interesting characters. I did like its simplicity. I really like the. It's sort of like FF15 in that way, where you're kind of building with the characters as they go along in their journey, and so all the interactions kind of come together as one kind of emotional arc as you're going through the movie. It's obviously, or excuse me, the game. It's obviously about him and his son, and his kind of him teaching his son to be a great god, I guess. Right?
Yeah. And eventually you find out, your son doesn't realize that he's a god for a lot of the game.
For pretty much half of it.
Yeah.
And then he turns into a douche when he finds out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's some weird shit where he's super douche, but then he doesn't remember being a douche, and that's
No.
tied to the twist.
He does.
He does remember being a douche, but he has it
He
laid out.
mentions that he doesn't remember it because it doesn't seem like something he would do. He just he kind of freaks out. He has that moment where he realizes he totally just straight up murdered somebody for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he was like that. That's why he mentions that he
But is he...
forgot.
Did he forget, or is he being deceptive?
Are you referencing the twist?
Yes.
He's referencing
that
the
we're not
twist.
going to talk about.
Why would we not talk about it?
I think we should, but these guys don't want to.
It's just that people will skip these episodes, but yeah.
Yeah.
They already do.
They already do until they beat the game, or they're not going to play the game and then they listen to it because they want to know
Or
what
they're
it's
fucking
about.
retarded, and they spoil it, which is their own fault.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
They
You wanna
seek it
do
out.
it?
They seek
Fuck
it out
yeah.
purposefully.
All right, your son actually turns out to be Zeus. No, I'm just kidding. It's not Zeus. That was your father. He turns out to be fucking Loki.
Yeah.
And that was his given name from his mother. And of course, since that's a shit name, you stick with Atreus, right?
Yeah. Agree.
And at the very end of the game, Kratos, their whole journey is outlined on the walls when they climb up the final mountain in the land of the giants, which I do not remember the name of. It was Jotunheim or...
Yeah, it's Jotunheim is the realm
Okay,
of
the
giants.
Heims, I can't handle
So many Heims.
it. Yeah, and I just popped them all, not all of them. Some of them I left alone.
Yeah, because you can't get to them yet.
Yeah,
you gotta work for it
Gotta
more.
wait till they turn 18, and then I can pop those Heims.
I'm not part of this.
Oh man, that was good. Shit, hang on.
Gotta watch it for the one fiery Heim.
It'll get you.
What is wrong with you?
Oh man. Fucking Fireheim instead of Fire Crotch. Oh man. You gotta use some ointment after that one. It's true too. It's so true. Oh man.
Kratos, the great conqueror of Himes.
Oh man.
Hi.
No, just sleep deprived. That's all.
Just fucking what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Oh, God, that was good, Greg. That was beautiful. Oh man.
Yeah, there's also a guy going after you the whole time. And you're not entirely sure why. This really angry dude. What's his name again?
Balder.
Balder, yeah. And one of the big parts that kind of opens up the game is after you spread the ashes and you're going to go to the next place or whatever. This guy shows up and he's come to kill you, basically. And you have this huge, epic fight with him. And what's interesting about this game is something I noticed early on and that a lot of people in the chat were making a big deal out of. That the entire game is, unless you die, of course, the entire game is all kind of one camera sort of situation with the whole thing. So you're either following behind Kratos in the third-person mode, and then when it goes into a cutscene, the camera and the characters and everything around them move around, but the camera it never cuts, which was a really interesting thing to do. It's sort of like we talked about this movie last week, but The Revenant. Revenant doesn't have that many shots in it. It generally stays with the one camera thing and moves around and has that kind of big epic thing. I bet you when they made this game, they were like, let's do The Revenant. Or let's do Birdman, really. It's all the same filmmaker, but that guy he does a lot of really complex kind of moving shots and then everything moves within it. But God of War, because it's a video game, you can literally never have it cut.
Yeah.
Ever. Unless you count like when it goes dark and when they're inside of the world snake or whatever. But I thought that was really cool and was you could tell that they really put a lot of thought in how they were going to tell the story and kind of have everything move along. I was really into it. I'd never played the other God of Wars, so I wasn't like already attached to Kratos or anything like that. But I found kind of the simplicity of the story was nice. Kind of, it wasn't like bogging you down with a whole bunch of shit. I just played 3 games in a row with fucking shit stories, or super complex for no reason stories. And it was nice. It was nice to be a nice, well-told, epic thing with really good characters going through a journey that I was on board for. Even though there was a whole bunch of complicated, crazy stuff around and with gods and everything, I was on board with the story. And it was really well told.
Yeah, it also does something that Final Fantasy 15 did, and I almost feel like kind of pioneered. I don't know if this is true or not, but as far as my experience goes, the car trips in 15 where you'd be like driving around and like you'd have a lot of like storytelling and a lot of character development from that. God of War kind of does the same thing because you sort of canoe your way around Midgard in the world, and so that's your main mode of transportation. And the whole time, him and his son are talking, or you're getting tales from Mimir, which is a messenger from the gods. Basically, he's like a
he's just the world's smartest man.
Head.
Yeah, well, you cut his head off.
Yeah.
Because he's basically immortal, and you have to bring him with you. You need him for his knowledge. And it's actually really funny if you bring him back to that thing. If you bring him back to where his body was, he's like, "Oh, that's something a man should never see." Because you walk past his dead body that's stuck on the tree, and as the head, he can just see it.
That's something a man should never see. Thanks for that.
Yeah. And you cut his head off, and you get Freya to kind of resurrect his head because he's immortal. It's just he kind of sort of died when you cut his head off, I guess. And he tells a lot of stories that are really rich with lore.
Yeah,
with
about
his
like
experience
the gods around you.
And it really builds this universe for not only this game, but also future games, I think, very, very well. Because it's like, oh yeah, Odin's, he's a fucking asshole. He's an asshole because he did this, he did that, he did this. Thor's a dick because he did this and this and this. This person's a dick, I got fucked. There's a lot of great storytelling aspects.
Is that what you have to say?
Yeah,
like, I got fucked.
He went to
This and this and this, and I got fucked.
Mimirheim.
Don't you understand?
There's a lot of great stuff with that. There's a really emotional and like epic moment in the game where your son Atreus falls ill, and you have to go to the land of Helheim to resurrect him, to find like an herb or a plant or something to
the heart of the
the heart of the
the
gatekeeper. That's right,
dude.
That's right. I forgot it was something more bullshit than an herb. But you had to go there, and you couldn't use your Leviathan axe, which is your main weapon for most of the game, and you had to find another weapon that would be powerful against ice guys. And it's like, this was actually spoiled for me. Because I looked at the trophies.
Yeah, he looked at the fucking trophies. And
oh, no, it wasn't that. I was told not to look at the trophies, so I didn't. I looked at a guide for Muspelheim Trials, which is like the arena mode in the game, and it's like, to beat these guys easily, pull out your Blades of Chaos, and I was like, fuck! Oh!
Yeah, for
was
me,
so
pulling
mad.
the Blades of Chaos out, that was like splooge in my pants moment.
Yeah, that was amazing. So he basically like travels back to his house, and like it's this huge thing where he's gonna he's gonna dig up his past, and he pulls out the fucking blades, and it's like, yes. Fuck yes. And then
he was talking to Athena while
yeah.
he was doing it. She called him a monster, and then he was like, as he finished putting on the chains again, he was like, I am no longer your monster.
Yeah, because he killed Athena too.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter to me, man. I was on board. It
Yeah,
didn't, like I fucking did. It didn't matter what I knew that there was like a big past there, and I understood that because of obviously the games. I knew it had something to do with like those gods, right?
Yeah, in Greece.
Didn't matter to me. Fucking great.
It was still amazing, right?
It was still amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a great entry point to the
it
series.
is.
Like, you could start this right here and not even worry about the other games, even though they're great. But, yeah,
I thought it was a really, really well told story for a video game. Really it kind of took the stuff I saw in 15 of the more modern type gamings that I think we're going to see more of this type of storytelling from now on in video games, right? I think it just did a really good job of that. And it was just really good. I guess you could complain that it was linear, but that's why the story is so good, is because it's really well told.
It was a little
linear.
linear, but you could also do some exploring within the different
But then it
realms that you
also
can
makes
unlock.
most of the cutscenes are interactive, because most of the cutscenes are like ready to fight scenes, cutscenes where you have no control, and then you'll be in control in some way in that way. So the way that they kind of include that as well, you're never like bored because there was too much story or whatever. I just thought it was fantastic. I was on for that full ride. It was just a good, really simple, really interesting. I dug the hell out of it. What do you, Cameron, you haven't been talking.
Yeah, since we've already given the twist that Atreus is Loki, I feel like we should also look into how the game touches patricide.
Oh, it loves patricide. Yeah.
So there's a part in the game, there's an encounter that you can find where you see this son kills a father, and your son Atreus just can't let it go. He just cannot understand how a son could kill his father. Like, to him, it's just mind-boggling. And then later, when you're in Helheim and you see basically a ghost of Kratos beating the shit out of his father and killing him, and the peculiar way Atreus internalizes it. And then when you finally get to the end of the game, where you're looking at the mural where it showed you that the wife, she already knew everything that was going to happen. It's all written down in what's it called?
Jotunheim.
Jotunheim. It's already written down in Jotunheim.
What if they had never figured out that was the biggest peak?
But then if you look,
they had to, because like they climbed to the biggest peak that they thought there was, and then Mimir was there, and he's like, "No, that's not the biggest
but
peak."
what if he just didn't give a shit?
What if Mimir
was
died?
Like,
if you look at the mural on the wall outside of before you leave the cave, there is a hieroglyphic of Kratos being stabbed by someone.
Yeah, saw that.
So that's just a hint of what might come.
Yep.
So the patricide is a thing. So.
He saw his death and he didn't give a fuck.
Saw that moment. I loved that moment. I
Well,
loved
yeah,
how it just
'cause,
left
like-
it alone.
And then because what was it? When they were like, I think he saw that right before they went to spread the ashes, right?
Yeah.
And then the boy was like, "Our journey's nearly over." And then he like sees that and he's like, "You're right, it is." And it was like,
He just snaps his neck.
Boy,
Yours is over, boy.
I like the relationship between the witch and the other character. What was her name again?
Freya.
Freya.
And then, of course, her crazy son, who's after Kratos.
Balder. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking
And then Mimir was
screamo
like
band lead singer.
cursed to never tell anybody what Balder's weakness was, which was the mistletoe that you got earlier.
Yeah, which sounds really gay, but that's totally what his weakness is in real life.
Yeah.
Which is why she hated those arrows.
I just love that ending part where she's going nuts and you guys are beating the hell out of that guy.
Yeah.
It's just so
Dude, I just
huge.
had a
It's so
huge moment
epic.
of
It's
father and
amazing.
son bonding when I'm just punching this guy's face in. Then my son comes flying down through the air, shooting arrows at him. Oh, God, just a great moment of two Spartans connecting. Some real bonding going on, beating the trash out of this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, this fucking northern scum bastard.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in because I don't know that much about Nordic mythology or anything like that.
I mean, huge part of Marvel right now is all about it.
Yeah,
really,
but I don't
Yeah,
fucking
like fake version of
Yeah,
it.
but it uses the
like
same
they use
words.
the same words. Yeah, the same
Ragnarok.
character.
Oh,
Where's the big snake, dude?
Yeah, where's Jormungandr?
Where's the world serpent or whatever?
That's his name.
So I thought that was interesting. A lot of depth there. A lot of stuff that it's oh, it'd be cool if I should get a book on that or something like that. I thought that.
I have one on Audible. Neil Gaiman wrote the Norse mythology book.
I've seen that in the stores. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I might explore that kind of stuff. It seemed like pretty cool shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the story's fantastic.
I do too. I really like that they toned down some of the because in the end of God of War 3, Kratos was just killing gods left and right, because the series had built up to it, where he would kill one or two gods and make a big deal out of it. But in God of War 3, he really fucking killed the pantheon.
It's it's time to wrap this up.
Yeah, he fucking went for it.
So there's power
And,
creep in the series.
Yeah,
Okay.
so in this one,
Brought it down to earth.
really toned it down again. Whereas the only gods he faces are Magni and Modi, and then Balder, of course, at the very end.
A little bit of Freya, but she didn't really.
Well, he didn't
too
really
much.
fight Freya.
Yeah.
he would have fucking destroyed her if he had to, but
Yeah.
her son was just a puss, and he was going to kill her.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed little mini story moments where it was just while you're exploring or going around, then
That's what me and Schweiss were talking about. The F-15 thing.
Yeah, and they would talk about stuff, and there was one where they asked Kratos to tell a story, and he basically tells the tortoise and the rabbit one, and he tells it really poorly.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, Atreus
was too
asks,
confident in his abilities.
Yeah.
And lost.
yeah, he was a fool. And
He
then,
was
then at the very end, Atreus wonders why Kratos picked that name, and then he told him about how Atreus was a great warrior who basically sacrificed himself to save the rest of the other Spartans, and it was great comfort to him, and he told him that story, and it was really powerful to the kid, and he's look, you finally learned how to tell a great story.
Yeah.
So we all know the character of Kratos really well, which is why that fucking trailer is such a goddamn lie.
Yeah.
It's that's not him. He's not. That's not pragmatic enough. It's
Yeah.
not down I don't know, not cynical
gruff
enough.
Yeah.
Just didn't seem like him. We will overcome. I don't think he ever fucking said that shit. Right? So I don't know. Cameron, you like it?
It's a wonderful game, wonderful story. We need to start putting scores down.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of 10?
Yeah.
10.
10 out of 10 for Cameron Wilson. For story.
Yeah, I also agree with the 10 out of 10.
All right. So the one part, there's one thing in story that I thought was really dumb. There's a part where your son is sick, and the explanation for him being sick is that he's a god, and he doesn't know it yet. They were like, well, he's not aware of his godliness. That's what Freya literally said.
It's because
that-
it puts the
that
human
actually-
and the god inside
yeah,
of him at war with
It
each
makes
other.
sense, dude. Because he has god powers, and he's trying to make himself mortal, and whenever he tries to use his god powers, it fucks him over. Because that's what happened. He tried to like use his godly powers, and it fucked him. It made sense.
It's
like a
dumb, though.
magic.
It doesn't-
It's a magical thing, dude. Like it happens in some other
It makes sense, man. It's magical.
stuff.
Everything makes sense when you throw a little magic in it.
I'll still give it a 10, but I did think that part was
Oh,
kind
really?
of dumb.
See, now there were like 2 lines from The Witch that I thought sounded too modern, and I was gonna be all like, I'm just gonna pull
What?
some like little like, ooh, you got a gray hair here, you piece of shit. You're a 9 out of 10, but no, it's still a 10 out of 10. It's amazing.
Would you say that was too modern?
She said, I can't remember what the line was, but it just sounded like it didn't fit the game for a second. But it's like one line, and I can live without it. It's fine. It's 10 out of 10, man. I loved it.
Yeah.
You're going 10 out of 10?
Yeah, it was
You
great.
like Caleb convince you at 10 out of 10?
No, I was gonna
Okay.
do it anyway. You can have qualms and quirks without docking a point. I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think so
I
too.
think it's fair.
Gameplay. What is this game play like?
Plays kind of like a Souls-ish game, but not as brutal. I mean, unless you're fighting the Valkyries, then
Yeah,
it's
the
fucking
Valkyries
No.
is straight up.
It plays pretty much like the old God of Wars
No,
did.
it
Just the
doesn't.
camera is more directly behind Kratos.
It does not play like those. It's a
yes, it
slower
does.
beast, Caleb.
It's slower than the regular God of Wars, but it's also very similar. You still have the dodge roll. You still have the very Kratos-like attacks of the fucking sweeping and everything. And, like it's a lot like that. It just added more to it with the Leviathan axe being able to be throwing it, so it has like a third-person shooter feel where you can like aim it at certain points.
The combat's a lot slower too.
Well, it's slower, yeah, but like
It's because he's
it needed
older.
to fit it more. Yeah, like everything is like reflecting that Kratos is a little older. Like even the climbing, dude, he like can't slide down shit and jump 50 feet with one jump anymore.
The kid can, but
The kid fucking can.
Yeah,
he's
he's a
disgusting.
monster.
But yeah, like Kratos can't do that shit. So yeah, like
It's just
also-
like a regular action game.
kind of yeah. It adds
There's an attack button, a dodge button, and then you can have special moves with the
Yeah, you get
weapons, and you
the
can switch to weapons.
runics.
One
and you
thing-
also control the boy at the same time. You can like if
Oh,
you're
yeah,
aiming at a certain enemy or you're just kind of like facing him, you press square a
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
amount of times to like shoot him with arrows, or you can hold it down to use his special attack.
A lot of dodging and then hitting.
Yeah,
Dodging
a
and
lot
hitting.
of dodging and hitting.
That's
One
why
thing
it kinda,
that was missing since you get, I guess they could have done it with experience, but there were no moments where you were alone with women gods or anyone else.
Yeah, no sex minigame.
Yeah, I know all
No sex
those
mini-
all
Every
those
other-
times and no sex minigame.
I know, none to pop,
Jesus Christ.
none for you. I thought that was very.
I thought he was
disappointing.
gonna. I thought it was
fuck
gonna be
Freya.
with Freya for the
Yeah.
longest time, and then like it didn't happen.
Go outside, boy.
Yeah, like I was like, dude, like she's the only woman in this. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like-
but see, all the other ones, it was
Papa's
always
gonna bring the
beside
bacon.
cake. There was the one where it was with the God of Love, but other than that, it was just with throwaway women characters.
God love.
No,
She's
one
the-
time you.
yeah.
Oh no, that's Hephaestus. That is her, huh?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
It's funny that like he goes and bangs her, and then goes through the mirror and like goes to see her husband right after that.
Oh hey.
Great part of God of War 3.
Yeah, he smells her stank on his
He's
dog.
like- yeah, he like thinks it's her for a second, then he's
Probably.
like, "Oh, Kratos, has she conquered yet another God of War?" And he's like, "You don't know, but it's been a while."
Yeah, it has
Okay.
been a long time. So
There's
that's why-
also RPG elements with the
gear.
the gear. Yeah, you upgrade gear as you go along.
It's a lot like Horizon.
There's these 2 brothers that are always like bickering, but they fix your shit and they upgrade it all the
Yeah,
time.
Sindri and Brock.
Yeah, those guys were a lot of fun. I guess they were dwarves. I just thought
Yeah,
they were
they're
weird
dwarves.
looking dudes, but then
They're
it said they
dwarves.
were dwarves later. I was like, what? Okay.
It said he was
It
a
said
dwarf from
dwarves,
the
yeah,
moment
like
we met
right
him.
at the very beginning.
I know. No, well, I didn't know at the very beginning. I must have missed that. But later on, it said dwarves, and I was like, "That's a dwarf." It was just a weird looking dude. That's all.
well, Sindri is definitely more like dwarf-like than Brock is because it's just a short blue dude.
So those are fun characters, kind of here bickering while you're changing armor and shit around. but it's a pretty simple system. And then the puzzle aspect, it gets a little bit more and more complicated. There's like more steps to it as you go along in the game.
Yeah.
You can burn certain things off of like treasure chests and shit like that, or opening up new paths.
Yeah.
You use your axe to like hold.
You have to freeze things. So
What
that
was
they
the
can
most
stay in
Things in
place?
place.
infuriating
Yeah.
type of puzzle you had to
And then
do?
you can also use them to hit stuff that's in the distance.
There was one where I just didn't get the X button to pop when I was looking around, and I couldn't figure out, and I had to go and look on a guide to see how the fuck to get to the next spot. The only time I looked at a guide, one time, and it was just like, oh, it just didn't pop for me. Like, so I had to go back up there again and look around somewhere.
One was one of the near chests, which are like ones where
With
you have
the
to
runes?
basically break runes.
Yes, the runes
Or
puzzles
smack runes to
got
open up.
so infuriating.
And
So
then
there's two
there's-
types of runes. There's the runes you could break and the runes you have to hit the bells for.
God, I hate the fucking bell puzzles.
Yeah, there was one where it was like they were runes, and it was the part where you go into the Dark Elf Sanctuary and you have to like push the little lever around, and then or like roll the little thing, and then you have to stop the platform midway. Well, there's like two of them along the platform stopping things, so you have to stop one all the way down to smack a rune, and then you have to stop one like halfway up. And then, like, suddenly there's a rune behind you.
I had a great time with those puzzles.
Yeah.
I
I
had
thought
a
they were
lot
pretty
of fun
fun,
on
yeah.
those puzzles, yeah.
It's always just like, what
Less-
fuck-face place would they put this rune?
Yeah,
None of them were so infuriating that I, like, wanted to kill myself.
None of them were as
No,
bad
none-
as some of the ones in that fucking Hellblade. Some of those.
Oh
were
yeah, some
fucking
of those were ridiculous. Yeah,
Fuck that. But these ones, it's kind of funny how similar the two games are. But I'm
yeah.
like,
I've only left one area with one of those rune chests left open because I could just not find the last rune. I checked
The one where you
everywhere.
destroy them.
Yeah, it's one of the ones where you destroy them.
get
And
your full health, man.
I couldn't find where that last fucking rune was.
Yeah.
I've been over I had spent over an hour and a half in that area looking everywhere, but the rune was not there.
Yeah, there's those. There are those as collectibles. You have like random treasures that you can pick up, like artifacts that are pieces of like sets that are usually thematically connected. Like you'll find one that's like, oh, there was a shipwreck and my men were stranded on these various parts of the island, and you find like pieces of those guys' treasure, and those are all kind of tied together. There are Odin's ravens, so Odin kind of like spies on the world through the eyes of
Yeah, you can see through the eyes of ravens.
of his ravens. So it's kind of like not Zeus, but what's the evil guy? I'm losing it. The bad
Baldur?
no, the bad Zeus. His opposite,
Bad
Hades.
Zeus.
How Hades kind of uses Hades uses the fucking
Bad Zeus.
the tit flying guys as his eyes. It's kind of a similar situation. I can't remember
The
what their name-
harpies?
The harpies, yeah. Those are the eyes of Hades. And in this game, it's like, you got the crows, the ravens, and those you throw your axe at and you kill, and you basically are cutting off Odin from seeing everything around the world. So there are collectibles there. There are random doors that you don't get to unlock until the end of the game that have fuckface Valkyries behind them that are like insane. Those are really challenging fights, and that's where it starts becoming like Dark Souls, where it's like
The
learn
Valkyrie
the pattern,
fights.
learn
Oh
the
yeah,
pattern,
you have to fucking know
and
the
don't fuck
Valkyries.
up.
Learn the pattern, never fuck up.
Never fuck up, yeah. Because like there was one that I found, and I stopped the stream, and I like kind of fought it a little bit, and then I quit, and I was like, I'll beat that one the first try. Still like 10 tries, because like I kept getting caught off guard, and she would just fucking destroy me out of nowhere. So those are really
The
challenging.
first few tries, you're just learning the moveset, and you have to learn where you interrupt the moveset to do some.
and how you interrupt the moveset too. So those are the real fun challenges in the game. There's that, and just a bunch of random chests and shit. And then the two brothers have random quests that they give you too. And
Yeah,
kinda
the
like,
mini quests that you do to get XP, which you use to purchase
you
your
ever find-
abilities and upgrade your rune attacks.
Did you ever go find the alchemist?
yeah,
I
What
didn't
does he
do
give
that.
you?
yeah, he's dead, but you get like
You get like a rune from it, I think.
yeah.
Oh,
There's that, and then there's Muspelheim, which is like the fire and brimstone realm, and you go there, and there's a bunch of trials. So God of War always has like a really fuck-faced like end game trial thing that you can do to grind out orbs, to level up your abilities, and just like as a challenge thing.
And this one has them, and they're fucking brutal at times. There are ones where it's like, don't take damage, and there are 20 plus enemies to kill, and you can't get hit once or you
Kill
fail.
500 enemies.
Yeah, there's one where you have to kill 100 enemies.
Kill multiple enemies in rapid succession.
Yeah, there are a lot of crazy ones. And then when you beat those, you unlock impossible trials, which are like worse versions of that. And those were fucking infuriating, I'll tell you what.
Kill 1,000 enemies.
It wasn't 1,000, but I had to kill like 60 or 70, so it wasn't even as many as the other one.
Oh.
For the final
They
challenge.
were just more ridiculous. Was it like all travelers?
No, that would be awful.
That would be impossible.
But yeah, there's a lot of different variety from the enemies in many respects. One of the things that I don't like about the gameplay in this, though, are the troll fights. Like, I thought those were all really kind of canned, and they all looked the same. They had like different themes and like visually.
They were different elements, yeah.
There weren't too
color.
many of
It's
them,
like a
though,
fire
so it wasn't
and
too
ice,
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trolls were pretty epic the first few times you fought them, but after that, you knew
Well, you only
what to
fight
do.
them like 2 or 3 times
Yeah, I
throughout
think-
the entire
I fought
thing,
like
and then it
no,
switches.
I fought
like 4.
There was one fight you're fighting
Maybe.
2 trolls at once.
Well, yeah, there's the 2 at once, and there's the first one.
but
and
there
then
are
it
some
switches to like
there are
the,
some troll
other
fights that
archetypes.
are optional.
Yeah, post game. And those I thought were kind of like, I don't know, they're almost like unenthused. They're just the same thing over again. But a lot of the enemies have like different tactics to defeat him. I mean, the first time I found one of the Wolvers, which is like a Wolverine character that just slashes the Christ out of you, like I got fucked so many times. And now it's like they don't even phase me. I could just annihilate those guys. The only thing now that fucks me is the fucking Dark Elves.
Yeah, the Dark Elves are pretty
Lord
rough.
motherfucks.
If they ever hit you with their like ranged attack, you can't see them.
Oh,
for,
I
like-
can't. It's not just the ranged attack. It's like all their attacks, like the little fucking explodey mines that they give you.
Exploding man.
I think that's what Cameron's talking about.
Well, no, because they also just like can shoot you on the side.
Oh, yeah. When they drop a little present for you and blow you up, that's bullshit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can't see for a good 10 seconds, and if they hit you again, then it just keeps perpetuating not being able to see them.
Yeah, so it's kind of rough. There's a lot of stuff in gameplay though. There's a lot to do in this game. It's easily the biggest God of War game. I've spent the most time in this one
really?
probably.
Okay.
The map is huge, and the other games there's not a level of exploration that exists here. There's not really a chapter select for most of them, so it's like you just start the game, you go through the game, and the game's over.
Yeah,
You don't have a world map. It doesn't have the setup that it does nowadays, where almost every game is like open world. So it's very different in that respect, and I think it's really fun. And I mean, once I get the stupid Niflheim challenges done, which is another challenge zone that sucks ass, I want to clean up the rest of the trophies. I've almost done it. So, and it's been a lot of fun.
I think I didn't do any extra stuff. I wish I did, which is a preview for replayability. I just was in a hurry to beat a bunch of games really quickly over time, and this was definitely the best of those 3 games that I had to play really quickly. And I wanted to play some more. So I never had anything where I was like, oh, I'm sick of all these trolls, because like for me there wasn't that many.
Yeah, there wasn't that many. It switches to like something else.
Well, it's not that. It's just like...
And each troll fight I think was a little
And
different.
I looked
so-
forward to troll fights because you usually got stuff to upgrade your weapons from them.
Yeah, I didn't do too many side stuff either. So like the only troll fights I really remember was like the first one you fight, and then when it was like the fire and ice one.
And
Oh, I had a few
in
more
that
troll
case,
fights than that.
I was always having fun in this game. It was just, I don't know. Just thought it was great. I'm going to give gameplay a 10 out of 10 as well. I think I just had a blast playing this game. Really, just a blast. The puzzles so much fun. The fights were a lot of fun. Once I had to switch my controls to the opposite way because I played an action game that had circle as dodge and then. Or excuse me, circle as attack and X as dodge, and I had to switch those in God of War because it was the opposite when you first start. And that was like just fucking up my brain on that first Baldur fight. But I also love the way that gameplay was integrated into the story parts of the game. Yeah, just a lot of fun. So I'm giving gameplay a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I would probably mimic that score. There's one thing that kind of bugged me about the gameplay, and that's just that I don't necessarily care for loot systems being in like every fucking game recently. But this is better than most of them have been. So, I mean, I tolerate it. So, yeah.
Is that a 10 out of 10?
Yeah, it's still 10 out of 10.
Okay, all right. Well,
I mean, it's still really fucking good, despite the fact that I don't necessarily care for every game having the loot system.
I mean, you can ignore them for the most part and be okay. I mean,
Well, yeah, if you're
If
just
you wanna
doing
do
like
anything
story.
extra.
But yeah, if you want to do extra stuff. I mean, I did do the Muspelheim stuff to just get some of the armor set for that. But
I just love how ingenious, like, you would do one puzzle and leave an area, and then you have to come back in with, like, a separate puzzle, and the way those things were integrated.
Yeah,
in.
and the way like the game was like, hey, and it almost had Metroidvania in a lot of places where it's like, oh yeah, I remember those brambles were covering up a chest earlier, and like when you find it, you're like, oh, I guess I can't get this yet, and then you come back later and you're like, oh hey, I can get it, and you like burn the shit out of it and then get your treasure, you know.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of elements of that, of like remembering, like, okay, there was something near the
well,
summit.
now you can go get something that you knew was there.
Yeah, that I knew was there and I just couldn't get, and it was like, okay, this is stupid. I'll have to come get it later, and then you do, and it's satisfying, you know. The boss fights weren't as epic as some other God of Wars, but they were still pretty good. I know
that
Abraham
Balder
was,
fight wasn't epic to you, or
No,
just
it
not
was. It was
as
pretty
because
good.
it wasn't as big. Like the creatures you
Balder
were
fight
fighting
was
weren't as
huge.
big.
The final Balder fight was fucking awesome.
I'd say
It
the
was pretty
first
good.
Balder fight was
Yeah, the
pretty
first one
fucking
was
awesome
fucking
too.
awesome too.
yeah, the first one, it's like, wow, I'm in a God of War game. This is God of War. And then it just gets better from there.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great, but I'm telling you, man.
So now you're playing the comparison thing.
Well, when I ripped Poseidon's head off of his shoulder, or no, you didn't rip his head off. You like poke his eyes out. It's amazing because you get the camera from like his angle, and you're just like he's just getting pounded, and then like Kratos has his thumbs out, and you press L3 and R3, and he just
Well,
fucking put
he
his
was
eyes
way
out.
more brutal back then too. You gotta
Yeah, he's
remember,
calmed
because I mean,
down.
fucking look at what he did to Hercules. He bashed his face in so hard that he fell through the floor.
Yeah,
And then,
that's true.
and then fucking you can punch Zeus infinitely.
And the blood
he
just
ripped
covers
off
the camera, yeah.
Apollo's head to use it as a fucking weapon. So I mean, it's
just
got
saying.
tons of shit.
As
dude.
far
It's-
as boss fights, not as good, but still really good. I'm just letting everybody know, if you really liked it in this game, you should totally play the other games because they're fucking huge and awesome. Not saying this is not as good as those other games. I'm just saying the boss fights aren't quite as epic.
some
Except
of
for
the boss fights in 1 and 3 aren't.
But don't you believe in
That's
judging
good.
things on their own merit?
Yeah, I do. That's what I'm doing.
What are you giving the gameplay?
Yeah, I'll give it a 10 also. I like the loot system. I like being able to craft stuff. I like the options that it gives you. If you want to be a guy that uses a lot of runic power, if you use the runes that you attach to your armor and weapons a lot, then you go that route. If you want to be like me and just have as much fucking damage as possible and like rely on your own abilities or inability to dodge to stay alive, you can do that. There's a bunch of different customization options to be had when it comes to the armor. The weapon upgrades are always fun. It's always exciting when you get a new item that you know you can use to upgrade because your character is going to be that much stronger. It's fun to see what new armor you have. There's an armor that's it's like the traveler armor where you can negate a hit. So like
yeah,
if
you
somebody
get
hits
one
you,
hit that you can just not have.
yeah, you just don't
Give
get
damage
hit. And
to
I
you,
didn't
yeah.
have that, and I wish I did for the no-hit challenge, or I would have probably beaten it much faster. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to play the game, and I really enjoy it for that.
Cameron?
10.
10.
Lots of chests to find.
That's it?
Yep.
That's all you're going to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I already talked about things I enjoyed about it, so.
Okay. All right. Sound and music. Voice acting, music.
Voice acting is amazing in this game.
Voice acting is fantastic.
It's top
isn't it?
notch.
Oh, yeah.
It really is good.
Not a single
the
person.
dude who took over for the last guy for Kratos did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a new voice actor?
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
I didn't know that.
They wanted to get someone that sounded a little older,
Older,
like
yeah.
deeper voice, you know.
Okay.
So they got a different guy. I think the voice acting is all really well done. I think the writing is really well done in the game. I didn't have any problems with like the way things were done, the way things were said. I didn't find anything weird with Freya or anything like that. I felt like it all flowed really well, and I think everybody was
on their A game, and they got a really good cast to do the game itself. Like, there's a lot of really big name voice actors in there, guys involved with a lot of Naughty Dog titles, and then of course, the guy who played Kratos is great. Atreus is great. All of it was really solid.
Any dissenting opinions?
No.
No, it was fantastic.
Not, yeah.
Music was great.
Music was so good.
I know. It's just
Just a really big melodic score. Fucking, I miss that shit. They always do these like atmospheric bullshit.
Just
crap.
the feeling of discovery. It helps
You should play the other
capture.
God of Wars. They do that too, where it's like really big music.
Beautiful music.
Remember
and
the first
big
time when
and-
you got into your boat
Fantastic,
and rowed
man.
out to the Lake of Nine? You're just seeing these statues poking out of the water. Just the feeling of the unknown and discovery. It was captured well with the music as well.
It was so good. It was so good, and it was like perfectly timed with all the little story arcs too.
Oh yeah.
And just like I was humming along with the fucking game in some parts, and like that's a really like. I know that there are people that like to not notice the score, but I'm a music lover, man, and I want to hear a really good score along with it. Like that adds shit to the experience to me.
When you have
yeah.
a really good score and then like it's noticeable and it powerful and it like enhances the entire thing. Yeah.
If you're humming the score at the end, it's like they fucking did their job.
Yeah. That scene where he gets the blades back, especially that was
Yeah, that one.
huge.
The
That
music
whole
only
moment was
made
just-
everything like
That
more,
the sense of dread and foreboding and fighting your demons as you go back home and talking to Athena and pulling the blades out. That
Cameron's salivating
was
at this.
the moment of the game.
The table is rising and the saliva is flowing.
That was that was
It was
such
way good, yeah.
a good moment,
And that's why I was like, I know this was spoiled, but it doesn't matter. This is still amazing. Like, it's still really awesome. Because I knew exactly what was going to happen. I was like, oh, fuck. The blades. So he, like, comes to terms with his past and accepts it and moves on. Fuck. And then it happened, and I was like, oh, that was actually really good. Even though I
through
knew.
the power of music, he is able to do that.
Yeah.
The power of music.
I gotta tell you, when somebody told me there was gonna be another weapon and it was gonna be like a weapon from his past, and I was
No,
like,
of course it's going to be
and
the Blades of Chaos.
so I didn't necessarily think the Blades of Chaos at first because I thought it was gonna be the Blade of Olympus.
Oh, that would be pretty big, too.
Yeah, that would have been huge because it's like what he used to kill pretty much everybody. So it would represent his past almost
not
as
as
much
iconic.
as
They
the blades.
hinted at it with his bloody wrappings around his arms.
Yeah, they did.
He keeps touching his arms. He looks at his arms. There's blood on his arm. He's thinking about his past. He looks at his arms.
Well, he still has his fucking stab wound from when Zeus stabbed him with the Blade of Olympus. So,
and then it's just like
and the Blade of Olympus was like Zeus's sword. So it was like it could be either one. But the
moment where
were,
he throws his wrappings off the cliff right before he throws the ashes down.
Yeah, it's
He
big.
has
Good
nothing
shit.
more to
Yeah.
hide. He has
Yeah.
nothing more to hide.
I know when he said that, it was just awesome.
I gave Sound of Music a 10 out of 10. I thought it was perfect.
10.
10.
Yeah.
Can't get
oh, yeah.
anything else.
Nothing from sound and music is going to get any fucking problems for me.
So good. Art, how does the game look?
It's probably the best
Fucking
looking
beautiful.
PS4 game.
it is one upped. I think Doom just in its grandeur and maybe it's how different it is. Right, everywhere you go.
It has the giant scope of things that like where the camera moves. Like it's a God of War staple, or like you go out into the lake and then you see the entirety of the lake. You know,
And then
it shows you everything.
the part where you throw the Leviathan axe into the lake and then the world serpent comes out, and you're just like,
Huge.
the immensity and just the grandeur of that moment.
But
alone.
even then, like I know it's a narrow area, so they obviously narrow it to make the graphics a little better.
yeah.
The detail and everything around you is also really high. I was surprised. It seems like they're pushing the system as far as it can go in this game.
My
are.
PlayStation had some moments where it needed to cool down for a second.
I
This-
didn't have that, but yeah, your PS4 is weird. That's
my
right.
PlayStation's a little weird. I think I need to replace it, even though PlayStation's in its last years.
Have you done the
but-
factory reset yet?
I have. I'm pretty sure I've done a factory reset.
I haven't done it on my PS3.
But
even though I need to do it.
it's done this since I've had it. So I I'm pretty sure I got a factory defect one, but I'm just now coming to terms with that fact.
All right.
Yeah.
An extra a 13th chip instead of just 12 or whatever.
Are you trying to make a chromosome
That's
joke?
a chromosome joke.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weak, but
Yes, it was. Highly inappropriate. But yeah,
you're just gonna get rid of me because I got an extra chip.
I think
Dad?
it's beautiful. I love the scheme of the the Nordic gods and everything like that. God, it just looks so cool. There's kind of that in Far Cry Primal. It was a little bit this way. There's kind of that like fakeness to the face, but I thought that like
The Uncanny Valley is
her
a thing.
face had a lot of life in it
Yeah.
of the witch,
Yeah.
and she was kind of the one who looked the most human out of all the characters, so she's the one who I'm judging. And I'm like, you know what? They did a really good job animating her. Everybody's body movements were really like well done. Nothing looked goofy or anything like that.
You want to know another mind-blowing moment of the art is when you're finally going to Tyr's room inside the middle thing in the island, and you're seeing the art from Greece. From when he was in, you can see an urn with him on it as the Ghost of Sparta. But then there's rooms full of Egyptian art. There's rooms full of, what was it, like Oriental art.
There was one that was like looked Mayan or some shit.
Yeah,
there's Mayan
and then
stuff.
Mayan, and then the wall, and then the Tyr's like wall paintings where they had their own form of hieroglyphics of how they're telling
The
stories.
lore cabinets.
The lore cabinets, and it's just the art there, and then just what it means for future God of War games. It's like that whole mind blowing. Like this game, it just keeps blowing your mind. There's just no more mind left to blow.
The light effects of
The
everything.
lighting effects were
really
were
great.
Yeah.
Like I said, in the story section where they decided everything was going to be in one shot because whoever made this game was like jerking off. I thought it was great, and they did. It was really well done and really well framed, and just like added to the epicness of it because you would not just like see things; you would swoop through things and like
Yeah.
come upon
It would
characters.
really
that you have,
show
like-
you everything. Yeah.
Yeah, God, it's so good looking. I think it's the best looking game I've ever played, by a small margin because we've had some really good looking games on these PS4 titles that we played.
Right.
But
Yeah.
fucking great looking game. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 for art and graphics and design.
Same.
Yeah, I will too. I mean, like, even the fucking hair mechanics and stuff like that they had going on. Because, like, when you go into that icy area and you see the dead frost giant or whatever, and you see his fucking, like, mustache blowing in the wind, and you could see each fucking hair on it. Like, that was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
This is insane. Like, the
that.
level
You know
of
that's
detail.
not realistic at all.
Well, yeah, but
it's like you don't see every single hair blow when someone's in the. But for some reason we get off on it with video games. Like, wow, look at the detail.
yeah, it's
Like you know
fucking
when your
beautiful.
hair actually blows, it's like it's kind
It's
of
like a
one
chunk,
mass.
yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, that looks like shit.
Yeah. Looks so stupid.
My beard flows
You mean
one
you guys
strand
don't
at a
see individual
time."
hairs all the time?
I don't see very much, to be honest.
Well, it was a fucking giant, so I mean,
I probably see his hairs.
Craig, you're giving it a 10?
yeah.
Schweiss?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it graphically.
All the character models were great. The enemies were unique enough. I mean, when you got to a new higher level enemy, they were usually just redder, but that's fine. You just knew they were going to fuck you twice as fast. A lot of great stuff. I love how the world serpent. Somebody brought this up in chat. I love how he has like Kratos tattoos. Almost, he's got like the red stripe going down him, and Black Mage was wondering if he was gonna and the same beard. And some theories suggest he dies and gets reborn as the world serpent.
That would be fucking awesome.
Like the next one of the other God of Wars is like you just are the world serpent and you commit Ragnarok.
That's funny.
Well, I mean,
Pretty
he
fun.
started Ragnarok in this one by killing Baldur.
I guess that's true, huh? That does kind of set it.
Baldur was the catalyst.
Yeah.
Will the next game be called God of War 2 or God of War Ragnarok?
God of War 2.
Think so?
Yeah.
I think they put a reset on the series, sort of, but also as a continuation, so it's
I'm
kind
just
of
going
weird.
to do 3 sets of 3
Yeah, just like fucking Doom.
for the next 40 years or whatever.
Yeah, they already planned out 5 more games apparently. So
For what?
For God of War.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's gonna be 5 more God of War games at least.
As long as they keep making money.
Yeah.
That's the real
Well,
caveat there.
Ascension, they didn't make that much, but
Yeah.
that one is the real beat off in your face game. 'cause
Ascension
it's
also, came out like right at the end of PS3. I feel like.
yeah. Well, it's also
And
the
it was
best,
also like, haha, multiplayer.
it's also like the best looking PS3 game ever. So like,
Kratos against Kratos.
No,
there's
you
a
have
part
like
in the story where
other
like you're in
Spartans.
jail and like some god breaks to the top of the roof and then like you and then this other guy like look at each other and then you both like go your separate ways and that's like the multiplayer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so then you get to make your own dude.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, guys. Well, the last category is the second gameplay category. It's the replayability.
Oh, Jesus.
Will you play this game again?
Yes.
Yeah, fucking most likely. As soon as the next game's announced, I'll be like, hey, God of War.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been more excited about like a sequel. and
He's already
more-
been replaying it, so
more mad that I don't have. And honestly, it's sad because like I kind of wish there was some DLC or like something more that I could play. Now we're gonna have to wait at least 2 years until we get another God of War game because they're like, no, we're not gonna do DLC. Fuck you. Which is great in a way. And then
it's great
also
because it's like, we gave you the whole game.
Well, it
like,
also
that's
means that
not
the
enough.
companies or their team is going to be working on the next God of War.
Yeah, it actually means that
as
they're going to
opposed
be working
to-
Instead
on
of
it, yeah.
cheap cash grabs.
Instead of Mr. Square and,
Cup noodle.
and Mrs. Enix, just like, God damn it.
Yeah,
we want a God of War crossover in Final Fantasy. I bet you there will be.
Oh shit!
I don't know if they would do that, but Square would definitely try. I bet.
yeah, I definitely can't wait till more comes out. But yeah, there's a lot of replayability for this game. Hell, I've played the fucking other God of War games multiple times.
Yeah, except Ascension, but yeah.
Yeah, I still have to beat that one. But yeah, I've played multiple times, and then this one has a lot of like side shit to do that the other ones didn't.
A lot of collectibles.
A lot of collectibles doing
Like
the
a fuck
trials.
ton,
They have
yeah.
like 2 different sets of trials, basically. So
And you get the trophy, and you don't even have to finish all of them, so you can go back and grind out more like embers for your armor, or more upgrades. You can see how much fucking power you can possibly give Kratos. You know, there's a lot.
There's a bunch of like side quests to do. There's just a lot of extra content that you can just get through.
Yeah, I've probably put like over 40 hours in the game, I bet, which is insane. And the game doesn't tell you how much you've done, which is also kind of crazy, but I bet you it's up there.
I immediately wanted to keep playing it after I finished the
Yep.
game because I
Yeah.
finished it so fucking quickly, and then I was like, God damn it! Now I have to play Bloodborne.
No, I was like, I have to play Type 0, and I was like,
Yeah, I played Type 0 first.
see, that was a good call. That was a good call. You don't want to play Type 0 after you just barely finished God of War.
And also, I don't own this game. I have to give it back to Dylan, which, by the way, Dylan, it's here at Caleb's house. You can come grab it.
yeah. Your Mario is here as well. This is the only way
Yeah,
we
his
communicate
paper
with
walk.
Dylan. is
Actually, I
to-
grabbed it at his place. I probably could just tell him I'm here, and I can go grab it, or go drop it off. But yeah, I wanted to keep playing it immediately. My only concern was there much more story content? Because I'll be honest, I was in this game mostly for the story and the puzzles, and like the puzzles would go through, and then you would add more to the story. I don't know if I would want to play this just to get some like hard challenge modes unlocked.
There's just side stuff that's like for Brock and Sindri, so it has like an element of comedy to it. So it's not
Okay.
necessarily just like it's not necessarily story, but it's just more of stuff to do. And it's not necessarily hard stuff. And then the challenges, they do get harder as you go on, so you could do a couple of the first ones.
I don't want to derail here, but I have this little pocket knife,
But you're gonna
Swiss knife.
derail.
I'm going
Okay.
to, and I was fucking around with the corkscrew on it, right? And I was closing it like on my finger, and it closed on the like the soft part of your thumb, right next to your nail, and I could not get it off. Like I was like, and it was digging into my skin, like it was about to start cutting my flesh open, and I was like, Cameron, can you help me out with this? Because I cannot get this fucking thing off my hand. I'm just over here fidgeting with it, and it's like piercing me, and I'm just like trying not to cry out. So yeah, that happened.
I see that you are no god of war.
How about you try some safer fidget toys, Schweiss?
How about fidget spinner?
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Yeah. 'cause-
Paul Garfield has created an invention called the Fidgy Pen. Which, you can
okay,
You
nice.
can go on Kickstarter. And
So
help
how successful are those
fucking
ventures that he
God.
gets into?
out. He has that one fucking business I see. They have trucks everywhere. So he has.
Do they
one
still have the
really,
truck business going?
I think they have the Cup Bop or whatever.
Acai Bowl.
Tribal. Okay, well maybe not. I was thinking it was Cup Bop.
No.
I guess that's a different company. Okay, he's less successful than I thought he was.
No, I'm pretty sure that most of his ventures kind of tanked.
Oh really?
I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
he keeps going for it.
Oh,
And
well,
he,
yeah,
and
that's an entrepreneur. You
he's
gotta keep
way,
going.
his Kickstarts, he goes way over the number that he asked for, and I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it, can't he be in charge of my shit? Why can't he produce my movie?
You can ask him. Ask him to be PR for you.
He helped. He's one of the few people from high school that supported the movie. So I
I'm pretty
appreciate
sure
that.
he'd help you do PR if you asked him.
Oh, you know this person?
Yeah, we went to high school with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, he's more successful than us.
Well, he's better at crowdfunding campaigns.
Oh, he's.
By the
better
way,
at
this is the last week of 13th Cross, so if you haven't helped out already, feel free to give us a $5 or $10. Really help out, and thank you to all those who have already helped.
Anyways, you're asking what more content to the game that's story related. The Valkyries are all story related.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you get through all of them, that's more story. Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely.
All right,
another
because that's the
quest.
thing. I was like, I'm not sure if I just want to go through to challenge
Also,
myself. There's
did
not
you,
like a bunch of boss fights that I was like, ooh, in this game. It wasn't that kind of game.
Did you visit the house after you beat the game?
I did.
Okay, so you saw the additional cutscene.
Does that count as extra time? Does that count as replayability?
I don't know. I was just wondering if you had.
Did somebody tell you to do it?
Yeah, someone told me to do it,
Okay.
so I did it. But plus, they were still talking through that whole thing. It didn't feel like I was like it was actually the end, even though there were credits going.
Yeah, because it was like a weird interactive credits thing. They
Yeah.
were like Scorsese and Taxi Driver, where he's just like
it's still-
writing off as it's going.
So I don't.
That was them beating off in our face again too, with the
Yeah.
credits like as you're walking. It was awesome though. It was perfect.
It was. And then another thing, it made me I kind of want to play the other games, but you've told me that it's so different from the other ones that I'm like, well, I liked this one. I don't know if I want to play a different one, like one that's different than this, like to the point
The other
where
ones
the
are more
controls
hack
are
and
different.
slash. It's kind of more Diablo.
Yeah, the other ones are more. They're faster in combat, so you'd probably like that.
I
'cause you
was
do, like,
surprised by
speed.
how slow it was. I was like, they told me this was an action game, and this is kind of.
But it kind of plays pretty similar in a lot of the ways that you use abilities and
I
stuff.
mean, if you
and then-
count moving a trace around, it's pretty fast because you can, in between your hits, throw in his arrows. So, and it feels fast in that sense. Where you're trying to manage both yourself and a trace at the same time.
But your actual movements are a lot slower in this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Although if you want to play real combat, play DMC.
yeah,
But
Okay.
definitely, this is like the older games are pretty similar to that. I would say closer to that than this. But when you got the blades back, it was kind of close. Yeah.
Okay.
series.
So my replayability score, I'm teetering on this one because it's like I did immediately want to replay it. So, but it was so linear the way I played it that it just feels like there wasn't much more for me, But it's so good. I don't know. I'm like at a 9.5, but I can't do that.
Do what you
well,
need
will
to.
you play it again? That's the thing. That's,
If
that's
I
how
play
you're
through-
gonna teeter it
If
off.
I play through the whole series like I want to, then I would play it again.
well, there you go.
I
There you
have
go.
all of
Answer.
them.
And I did, in fact, replay it. I
Remember,
immediately
the
replayed it.
replayability is mostly theoretical. It's if you had time, would you play it again?
I shall, ladies and gentlemen, it barely give it a 10 out of 10 for replayability for me. Because it's all based upon whether or not I would. I give percentages, and I did it. I did. I replayed it. I kept going. Then I wanted to keep going, and then it was like, nope, got to start bloodfuck. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10 as well. Like that's pretty much why I replayed God of War 3 was in anticipation of this game. So, waiting for the next one. As soon as I know when it's coming out, I'm gonna beat this again.
all right, who's gonna fuck this up?
So I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I gameflied this game, and I haven't given it back yet because I don't want to.
Have you played it though? Or are you just holding on to it like a fucking covetous?
I played it a little bit
dwarf.
after I was done. I played a little bit, but I'm thinking after
But you just want to
Bloodborne.
keep it.
I'm thinking after Bloodborne. Okay, I can't hold on to it after Bloodborne, and I am Setsuna. It's either I send it back or pay GameFly for me to keep it.
You should just buy it if you're going to pay anybody. GameFly. What,
You could buy the collector's edition like Schweiss has and have the statue.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's probably the best.
What did
bang
I
for
say
your buck
about
collector's edition.
buying a collector's edition part of the game? It's like I will have I'll buy the statue and have the cool statue, but then I will just see the shame staring at me every day, just that I spent money.
That's why you turn it around so that the statue's looking at the wall instead of looking at you.
Okay, Schweiss, it's up to you whether or not this is our only perfect score game ever or not.
He's already been replaying it, so
That's up to him. It's up to him whether or not he judges. I judge replayability based on my perceived percentage on whether or not I will actually pick the game up again, which I did. So thus, it's 100%. But Schweiss judges it on his own terms. Schweiss is also the one who has done the most replaying,
It's true.
so he knows whether or not it's worth it.
Well, it's very painful, I'll tell you that.
as you would expect of a God of War game.
Out of the entire God of War series.
It's pretty rough. It's up there for the most hard because I played it on fucking normal and it wrecked me. And I played it when I was playing it on hard. It really fucking wrecked me. That did not last very long.
You're lucky there's no hard trophy that you had to get.
I am lucky because I wouldn't have gotten it. Yeah, I'll give it a 10. There's no doubt I'm going to keep playing this game. I want to play the story again. I want to kind of zoom through the story. But there's no real new game plus, so I'll have to do a fully new game on like hard mode. But that kind of adds to the challenge, you know, when you go back in. The Valkyrie fights are all amazing. They're really hard. They're really worth it. The one thing I hate so far is the fucking Niflheim because it's a shit show in there. It's like you are running around and there's like noxious gas. And
it's fucking sick.
And like the fucking dark elves, dude, they fuck me so fucking hard sometimes. Like it's almost instantaneous. I'll be wrecking face, killing all the other guys, and then suddenly the dark elf is like, all right, I'm going to use all of my runic attacks on you right now. And then he does, and I'm like fucking wasted. Like it's infuriating because I lose thousands of these points that I gain, these missed points, and I can't get my upgrades, and it fucking sends me back to the checkpoint. It's like, fuck you, you failed, you fucking loser. All that like 20 minutes of time, it's gone now, forever. That's what I was doing this morning for at least an hour of like just nothing. And nothing happened in that hour. It's all gone. Like it's just failure.
All right, well, it's time for kind of final thoughts. This game is now my second perfect score on Nude Clan. It's not because it fucking feels like Halo, asshole. So eat it.
Did you give Doom a perfect score?
I'm the only one who gave Doom 2016 a perfect score. You guys gave it like 1-9 each or something like that. But this game, Doom 2016, Metal Gear Solid 3, Final Fantasy 6. Those are probably the only games I would give perfect scores to in my memory of in my short time of playing video games. Not a huge video game player, obviously. Even though I played a shitload of games in the last 3 years. So fuck all y'all. Yeah, this is in my top 5 video games of all time, in my personal estimation. It's just I think it's a nearly perfect game. It's so good. So that's my final wrap up on that. Caleb?
I pretty much loved everything about this game. I loved like all the self-referential humor, like the one part where he broke the vase of himself in Tyr's treasure room.
Oh man,
because it was like upsetting to him, and then they made a comment about how he hates pottery and he breaks it all the time anyway.
So he breaks the thing because he didn't want him to see that he's the ghost of Sparta. He breaks it. He's like, hey, why'd you break that? And he's like, I know you just hate pottery. You're always smashing it. And then the mirror on your hip just laughs.
Yeah, it's like a series staple where he just like destroys pottery for like orbs
If
or
they didn't
like
hide
whatever
valuable stuff in pots, I would be breaking it.
Yeah, so that was really funny. And then just like the joking that they do like in between stuff where they just like on the boats or whatever, and like at the end when he's like, "Oh, you finally learned how to tell a good story." That like just little things like that, just like when they like can laugh at themselves, and it has a good solid amount of humor in the game where like it never had that before in any of the God of War games. Like when you first meet Brock and he's like swearing all the time, and he's like, "Maybe I'll call the beast fucking Gratitude," and then he's like, "Oh, I kind of like that. Come here, fucking Gratitude." This is little things like that just made me laugh, and it was really good. I liked the addition of humor.
It's a journey of healing to where he can finally start to enjoy
and learn
life.
to laugh.
It tells a story in such a way that only a game can tell a story. That single camera thing and the way that like the experience of playing the game and solving the puzzles and everything, and then the character interactions during that stuff. 15 did it, but this thing like perfected it. I think this is the way that video game stories should be told. I think it's just amazing. Sorry, go ahead, Cameron.
No, that's
like
taking it right from me. It's just
the character development is in more than just like key cutscenes of a game. It's throughout the entire thing.
You
throughout
see
the interaction,
internal struggle,
and it's almost all interactive.
Yeah, if it's all it's like
which is what a game is.
Depending on what you do. Like
you
when
feel the internal struggle of Kratos trying to be a good father and trying to help raise a kid to not know the world that he knew and not be the guy he was. It's just
good.
Yeah, if you have a PS4, you should have this game. I don't care if you only play RPGs, if you only do this, only do that. You should play this game no matter what. It's great.
It, like, Doom 2016, like, did for, like, gaming in general what Doom 2016 did for FPSs. Like, it is the best FPS, and this is, like, one of the greatest games ever. Like, if you own a PS4, you should own it. It's a staple. Yeah. And even if you don't, you should buy a PS4 just for it.
Yeah, because why do you have an Xbox?
Yeah, you shouldn't have an Xbox. And you
There's
PC
nothing
players
on the Xbox.
And you PC players, fuck off. Get a PS4. It's the greatest game.
Trophy ding.
Twice was that your final?
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone should play it. It's great.
All right, well, we gave every single score a 10. I was teetering on a 9. I think Schweiss was teetering on a 9 earlier. But in the end, all of us 50 out of 50. Which, of course, makes the gameplay score 100 out of 100.
Yes.
This is the first time this has happened.
Yeah, this is the 40 out of 40 Famitsu score. I wonder if we tweet God of War that they'll like hold it into Steam. Like,
yeah.
Nude Clan only 100 out of 100 score of all time.
If another 2018
it's the only perfect game we have.
If another 2018 game comes in as a 100 out of 100, then that's the only way that it won't win our Game of the Year award.
Yeah, and this thing was a big motherfucker, too. When it came out in like the first 3 days, I think it sold like 3.1 million copies.
Yeah.
So it's like a big
And it's taken until now
game.
for Nier Automata to reach 3 billion copies.
Yeah, and this thing is like instant. So everybody was on board, and it's, I don't know, I've only heard good things from other people as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I would even like say that the quality of the game has anything to do with sales, though. Like, this game is just fucking great, and it doesn't matter.
It's a staple kind of for PlayStation, as it's been on like
it's big exclusive.
Been on the PlayStation since 2. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, also, just for reference, Metacritic has it at a 94 out of 100, so we went 6 points higher.
Okay.
Of course, Game Informer.
What fucker is like
Almost all of
shitting on the
those are
game?
like Game Revolution, Games Radar, Giant Bomb, which is another.
Of course,
podcast.
Game Informer doesn't give it a 10 out of 10. It's not a fucking COD.
IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. They're usually pretty stingy.
IGN is really fucking stickler with that.
Polygon gave it a 10 out of 10. The Guardian, US Gamer, Destructoid. So Game Informer gave it a 9.75, which is unusual because Game Informer is usually easier on games than IGN. But
yeah, IGN is cunt level with theirs.
Game Informer.
It's an 8. I'm like, what?
Game Informer and IGN are both like really, they're kind of harsh on like games that aren't fucking Call of Duty. I swear to
That's
God.
what it
If
is.
it's not a Call of Duty,
Until it
doesn't,
becomes-
it doesn't immediately get a 10
Until
out of
COD
10.
becomes not cool, and then suddenly Game Informer's like 7. It's like it's been a 7 for a while, guys.
It's like they haven't changed anything.
It's literally the same. The engine's the same. Multiplayer's the
they
same.
can change one mechanic, but that doesn't change the game.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to be it for this episode. Go check out nudeclan.net. Join our forums. We will sometimes read certain things written on our forum. If you decide to be a little bitch, that can happen. Otherwise, you can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier.
Me at Obsidian Bar.
Me at Nude Clan Cam.
Me at UFF Podcast.
And you can support us if you want on Patreon. Really appreciate our Patreon donors who help out with the show.
Yeah, gonna have a drawing next week.
Yeah, and we got to have drawings for movies for iTunes reviews, guys. So iTunes reviews, or literally just any review that you can place literally anywhere, especially on our website on the episodes,
Which we haven't updated.
which we have not updated. So good luck.
Godspeed.
God of War retrospective episode, I believe, is the last one updated.
I think it is. Yeah, we got a few to.
Sorry, that was
put
my
on there.
job, and I haven't done it. Yeah, fuck it. I'm at Joseph DeGolier. We already did that.
We already did that.
The show is at Nude Clan Podcast. You can ask your questions with hashtag NudeClanQ if you want. That's just the letter Q, not QUE. We'll see you guys next time.
Enjoy the nude.
May the list go on.
Live always in the nude.
Fuck off. 385 204 3921.